So, first of all, thanks guys for joining. I mean, I like having these discussions with you guys, coast to coast, and mainly this discussion because like we have quite a few people that play like different teams, and I want to talk about the current meta of the game, and I really wanted to get you guys' opinions on the diversity of teams in the game, right? Because Marvel 2's old and there's not diversity in the characters, right? But there's always been a decent diversity in teams. But like as of late, like I guess the spectrum of how many teams get used at a high level started to shrink down, right? And
I agree. I agree.
like when you watch like competitive first to tens and stuff like that, and people are going like counter for counter, it always eventually gets to Santax MSP, right?
Or MSP.
Yeah, like it always comes down to those teams somehow, somewhere. What's up, Gamer Jim? Somehow, some way, right? So I especially like having like Josh and Locke, you know what I mean, and Roundhouse, mainly because you guys use different teams, right? So I'm gonna start with Roundhouse, right? So being that you use a different team, do you feel at the highest level the game has less diversity in terms of teams? Do you feel like it's always going to come down to those two teams, or or do you feel that like other teams can overcome those teams in the long set? Obviously in the short term, like a 2 out of 3, like any team can pretty much beat any team. It is going to be a little harder, but you can get away with it. But like say like we had like frequent tournaments like every week or something like that, do you feel people using other teams would be able to have a certain level of success without using like Santax and MSP? So I'll start with you, Rounds, because you definitely don't use those two teams, and you've been doing your thing for quite some time now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna be doing my thing because
He's lighting up.
people.
Okay. There you go.
Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it, to me, it's not that. I think any team could compete. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just my team or like Locke's team or any other team. But look at Andy Doom and stuff. Like, people could still compete as long as you have knowledge of the game,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you know how to play the game. I think now, like the meta is more defense. I think people realize that, yo, how is this dude winning? And he doesn't got no combos, or he's just counter calling, or what type of strategy is he using? Um, People don't realize defense is a big part of this game and strategy. So when you play against other players, you have to have a strategy on what you're gonna do prior to it saying fight. So as long as you have your strategy, and then this game is so fast paced, it makes you think a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you play, a lot of people get tunnel vision, and a lot of people, they don't stick to their game plan. Like,
Yeah, they don't have that discipline.
they don't have that discipline. There's only certain people who have that discipline, like Ducto, and certain people that have that discipline. But sometimes
Yeah,
when
it's
a
hard.
character dies or something, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're like, fuck it, let me abandon the game plan and do something else. But it can't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what players are lacking right now. That's what I see. And players don't think the comeback factor is real, bro. That's the craziest part. I see people giving up all the time. People dropping the sticks. And I'm like, man, I relish in those moments because you put me in that situation, and I make this crazy ass comeback on you. I'm gonna clown on you.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Okay.
So that's my that's my
Cool.
2 cents on it.
All right. So now Tone, you do play quite a few teams, and you are pretty proficient with MSP and Santhrax. So like coming from your perspective, like how do you feel in terms of the game, and maybe like situations always coming down to those two teams towards the end, or like do you feel like the other teams are still extremely viable, just all depending on the skill level of the player and stuff like that?
Um, I mean, if you're like a master of a certain team, like Strider Doom or Roundhouse's team, then obviously you definitely have a chance. You know, you don't need to go to MSP or Thrax.
Mm-hmm.
Um, definitely viable. Um, so when the game first started, it was a lot of like it was a lot of defense, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then it gradually went into a lot of offense,
Right.
and then now Roundhouse said it's a lot of defense as well. I think it's both. You know, I think you gotta have defense and you gotta have offense. You just gotta know when to apply it, and you gotta have a discipline because this game gives you so much freedom.
Yeah.
And you don't have you don't have that discipline, then you just kind of like throw it away. So to answer your question, yeah, I think any team can really play. Any top tier team, you know.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. Any top tier team.
Right.
So Potter. So like now you there, Potter?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm here.
okay. So you're an OG. Like I really like having you here because you've seen damn near everything. So you've seen all the phases of the game in terms of what the teams were like way back then, and you know how many different teams were being played, and then you've seen it kind of like bottleneck into maybe a handful of teams, and you play quite a few teams yourself. So why do you think why do you think that happened? Do you feel like it got bottlenecked because like those teams are just too dominant, like MSP and Thrax, or because people like got lazy and stopped putting work into the old teams that they used to play, and they didn't want to evolve those older teams, or do you think like they were like kind of forced into retirement?
I think it's a combination of all of those things. Like before, like Yipes and Chris Schmidt, like
Mm-hmm.
MSP was really good, right? Like there were people like Sue and Mix Up and Wigfall,
R-
right? That
Ricky
obviously,
Ortiz too.
yeah, and Chris, yeah, you guys were like, you know, had the ability and didn't play stop 8 at Evo multiple times. So like MSP was always really good.
Mm-hmm.
But then these two dudes kind of just changed it completely where it became one touch, like game over.
Right.
Like start of the match, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And not to say those other guys couldn't do it because they also could. Like that was kind of like the coin flip, right?
Mm-hmm.
With MSP is like you get that first hit, you win, or you probably lose if they get away. I think that kind of changed the meta, making it just way harder for like non-cent cap teams to compete, or like non-mag science lock teams to compete, right? But
Right.
there were still players that had good other teams like Shady K and Bill were good with MSS and they could
Mm-hmm.
beat a lot of MSPs with that team. But it's kind of rare. It's kind of hard. You know, there's people like Clockwork. You know, people like you that pick Team Matrix and Justin. Like there's still a lot of variety, but it just became like harder and rarer. And those people were like specialists in that team where they could overcome those bad matchups.
Yeah.
And that I think that pushed people a lot towards picking like Storm Scent, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like I said, picking up MSP. Like I started playing MSP because I couldn't beat MSP anymore.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
it made
true. I picked a
sense.
team to play it so I can get to know it. You know.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and like you realize it's a really good team. Like
Yeah, exactly.
even if you can't beat like a Thrax, a really good Thrax with your MSP,
Mm-hmm.
as a Scent player, you're like, okay, then I'll just pick my Thrax when they pick Thrax, and I'll just pick MSP against an MSP mirror and like roll the dice. At least that's how I think about it, right?
Okay.
But I think what happened after that, right? Like, because then I stopped playing like around 2008. What happened is that like all the dudes that kept playing, they got really good with their team. So like people like Andy Doom and Roundhouse and you know Thrilla, like you see these teams. When I came back, I'm like, what is this shit, right?
Right.
Like how is this competitive? And then you realize they just did the same thing that like those other dudes did with MSP. Like they became masters of the team and they
Yeah.
overcame all of the shortcomings or like the disadvantages. Not to say they don't have those, right? Like I still think Andy Doom and like Thrilla, I think their teams are pretty weak, right? It shows that they're great players because they can overcome it. But I think at the end of the day, like a really good like MSP or Thrax will give them a lot of problems, or a good cable for Andy Doom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's some of that, right? And I think people are just a lot better now. So like they just kind of know how to fight those bad matchups, and like they're used to like they have so many reps of fighting MSP at the beginning of the screen that it doesn't really matter if they lose or they get snapped out, right? Like they move on to it's almost like Marvel 3, right? Like, you know how they just like restart the match right after? It's like that, I think, with a lot of these players when they play MSP. Like they just it's a part of the game. Like you just get snapped, it's over. Whereas for Thrax, I think it's still the barrier for execution is still really high, like to fight at the highest level. Like
I
it's
agree.
easy to like do well, but at the highest level it's really, really hard still. And I think that holds a lot of
Yeah.
people back too.
It's chess, bro. Like literally chess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it changes the pace. They dictate the pace of the game really well at the highest level. That's the hard part, regardless of what you're playing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's my thought. But
Okay.
I think there's a lot of good teams. I think like you see Chaos with MSS.
Mhm.
I think Storms and Cable's pretty good. Team Matrix is pretty good. Team Scrub is I think Team Scrub is really good because people aren't good against Cable anymore.
Yeah,
Mhm.
bro.
But
Absolutely.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of starting Cable, but people can't fight Cable at all. So like it's not that bad of an option.
I
Right.
mean, you start Sentinel, you come in with Rainbow Cable. That's just as hard for people that can't fight Cable. That's even worse.
Yeah, that's the way I like it. But you know, if you get snapped, you can't bring
Yeah.
in Cable safely. But
Yeah, that's a big downfall to Scrub. You know, I think it kind of balances it out because like most of the time with Team Scrub, I feel if Team Scrub like kills your first character, it has a significant advantage.
Yeah, sure.
The fact that it's a
Yeah.
defensive team and it has a lead, it doesn't have to fight. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
so like Josh, the topic of the conversation is you know the state of the game and the meta because you know when you see a lot of sets, you know maybe some tournaments, it always it tends to come down to MSP Santhrax a lot.
Mhm.
And we would the discussion is especially with you, someone who doesn't main either of the two, but you obviously can play them, but you know you're not a Santhrax or MSP main. You know, like, do you feel that the meta is at the highest level coming down to MSP Thrax in general, or are other teams still viable to be played at a high level and still have good success? I don't mean like, okay, I did well like one tournament, like let's say we had like weekly tournaments, you know, like could someone be winning against MSPs, against Thraxes with other teams consistently?
Uh, so we're trying to figure out whether or not Marvel itself at this point in the game has teams viable outside of MSP and Santhrax at the highest level that could compete with those two teams.
Consistently, not like, not in terms of like, okay, you know, like, oh, like he did good this tournament. Like I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure like VDO's team could win a tournament. You know what I mean? Like if he happens to hit everybody he plays, like it's probably gonna be over. You know what I mean? But in a span of a long term, that team is probably not gonna have a lot of success because especially if he runs into people like Duck Doe or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the
Trap
main thing is
teams.
Yeah.
that team in particular is very weak against Sentinel, and Sentinel, unfortunately, is on every top tier team in the game outside of MSP and like MSI.
Right.
Yep.
It's
So like, but by you being a combo fiend player, you know, I mean, obviously, I know like your confidence level, but from a realistic standpoint, do you feel like Combo Fiend is or any other team is the type of team that can hang at this level in the meta long term?
yeah. I mean, the thing about it is that you have
And
other
and
teams that
and when I say when I'm speaking about MSP and Thrax, I'm speaking about them being used on a highest level, not like
yeah,
like not obviously you can get away with lesser, you can get away with stuff against lesser MSPs and Thraxes, but I'm talking about at the highest level.
yeah. I mean, but that's what I'm going to get into. It's just like essentially we have MSP and Santhrax, which out of the top tier teams are probably two of the teams with the biggest payoffs putting up with early headaches of like playing the team. Like MSP is fragile, especially to terrible Magneto and Storm players, right?
Hmm.
Or especially terrible Storm players. You don't have to be a good Storm player to play the team, but if you're a terrible Storm player and you lose Magneto, you're gonna have a nightmare of a fucking time because everybody has tactics to kill Magneto first, right? Like everybody works on that.
Hmm.
And it's just like MSPs and Santhraxes do really well because their team is versatile and can fight. Each one of those teams can fight every other team in the game. However, each one of them have like their own uncomfortable matchups. I mean, I'd say a good Team Row could fight Santhrax really well. Um, and like if you have rocket punch assists with Magneto in particular, right? Like that alone is pretty hard for Commando to fight. Um, Depending on whether or not they start Storm or Scent. But even if Magneto gets killed, you still kind of have the ability to get like a rainbow, right? But we're talking about not by luck, but more so consistently. If both people are making the right decisions,
Mm-hmm.
will it still play out? I think the team like Strider Doom, for instance, can fight MSP very well.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how well it does against Santhrax at the highest level because, believe it or not, Santhrax does better against that team than Storm Sent Psych.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm just saying that after like 10 years of just fighting nothing but fucking Strider Doom. But
Right.
I'd say that Row is one of those teams that I feel like I don't see too many people that are dedicated to it outside of like, of course, Infinite, Mike Infinite, and like Telly. Telly plays it quite a bit.
Bro,
Mhm.
that's my team.
Yeah.
That's my
But
Some hype.
but like that team is super strong at high level, and even it can fight both teams, right? Because you can fight Santhrax starting Magneto, and you can fight MSP starting Sentinel.
Mm-hmm.
You can find
So
Star Magneto too.
yeah, I mean, but you have a good chance of getting your shit fucking side bladed, bro.
Yeah.
And some at the highest level, there one side blade is bad enough. You get put into a terrible position.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's true.
but I'd say if we're looking at the teams, I think Row is one of them. I think that Storm Sent Cable, like I heard Potter mention it earlier, I think is another team that I don't think we see enough of.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, like some of you guys pick it out as like a pocket team, but I haven't really seen anybody just stick with it as a main team outside of somebody like Rick Mears, who could lame almost anybody on Earth out. But there are teams right now that people should try re exploring because I think that
I agree. I really agree with that.
yeah. It's like I think that there are a lot of things that over time people forget how to do certain things because they play a meta a certain way.
Mhm.
And then they run into some shit from fucking ancient times. They run into like Blackheart.
Yeah,
Cable fight,
Blackheart.
and- yeah, and they don't know how to fight it, right? Because guys, do you guys remember that time period where it was not worth doing Hypergrab Tempest even on a low tier player because all of them could mash out?
Mhm.
Like there was that period in Marvel where everyone could mash out a Hypergrab Tempest, so don't even bother, right? And then there was a time period where people forgot how to mash out and you could do it again.
Right.
And I feel like even something as basic as that can happen, and that's not to take any credit away from people playing now because I think that they have more collectively. They have more games right now against a wider variety of things than we did when we played, like versus each other because we had a set pool of teams that we would play against.
Right.
But every week I fucking tune into Roundhouse's stream and he's playing some random like Mega Man player, some Guile Cable, somebody's just trying to counter him, right?
Mhm.
And he's fighting all of it.
Yeah.
Like so he has his reps in. So like it's different. It's very different experience. But I also think that revisiting some of those older teams, some people would do really well. I mean, I think even in the current meta at the highest level, a lot of people gave up on some of their teams because they just didn't have, I guess they didn't have the player base around them to really get them strong and get around like their shortcomings.
Mhm.
But if I see like a Blackheart fucking Sent Cat player, like a Team Watts player that plays the game for 10 years and he's fighting people now and like I'm pretty sure he would give most people a problem, even MSPs and Santhraxes.
Right.
But at the highest level. But the problem is that at the highest level, a lot of people cash out. A lot of people sell out. They go straight for that MSP and that Santhrax. So,
Yeah. Right. Because those teams are privileged and
And they see
like,
a lot of it, so they
yeah.
they want to be it, so they pick it.
Right.
But
And
they don't
I
understand,
get that.
like,
Yeah.
like the thing, like my observation, right before I go to Jason and Mike, right, and I feel like Santhrax is currently played, not currently. It's the best team in the game to me, right? But Like the best thing about Santhrax is that it does the best against MSP in my opinion, right? Because MSP is a fragile team, but it's hard to exploit that weakness, right? Without getting a physical hit and being able to take advantage of it. But you know, a commando based team can exploit that weakness without getting a physical hit with
Yeah.
you know with cap, and then like it limits how and how many times a person can call Sideblade. So I
Well,
think that's why people you know will go to Santhrax to fight MSP rather than like really try to you know like tough it out with Storm Sent Cable and have to deal with the fact that okay, like they're gonna get the whore out Sideblade, you know what I mean? Because I don't have a damaging counter call, so you know you can get away with calling it a little freely. Not saying that there's no options against it, right? And then they're gonna have to take some stuff. They're gonna have to block because there's not too many obstacles for them to have to avoid, right? So I guess people want to avoid those situations at all costs, which is why they pick Commando against MSP because they want to just you know get it going.
I mean, yeah, and I'm gonna, I'm gonna really just touch on this one particular thing is that if we dissect how a match goes with MSP and Santhrax, right? The
Mm-hmm.
scary part is you getting touched by Psyblade or you getting hit by Psyblade
Mm-hmm.
or getting countercalled, really. But if Psyblade comes out first, right, and this is like where Santhrax gets its turn, is if you call Commando, everything stops. At this point, Psyblade either got hit or
Right.
Psyblade was just going back, and
Mm-hmm.
now the Magneto player has to really watch out for whatever you're about to do because it's now your turn,
Right.
Because you are now spacing out and getting ready to either hit them with something
Mm-hmm.
or just try to punish and assist. I think that the way that we approached the game years ago was a little too ignorant of the way of fighting around an assist because you can do the same with quite a few other assists. And I'm not saying that somebody's going to play Ryu and be fucking viable. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But it's more so that I think people have to start focusing more on assist damage because that's the one thing that caught everybody off guard when they played Roundhouse the first time. And I pointed this out for a long time. Is that I've always paid attention to how to like assist punishing, but I've never really done it well in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But Roundhouse's entire playstyle is to make you pay for calling an assist at the wrong time. And
Right.
when he does that, he gains a serious upper hand.
Right.
And I think that before he got a lot of exposure and people started seeing him play more, there weren't that many people that were that focused on assists. I'll be very honest. Like it's
I
like
used to.
yeah, I mean like
I do.
there are people that do it, guys, right?
But that's why you guys are that's why you guys are on this call, you know.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like sure, we all pay attention to that, right? But how many of you are going to spend 3 meters to kill an assist and still have your team in the right order?
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah.
at Evo, Josh? At Evo, when I killed your Iron Man, you called him out.
Yeah,
And
I remember
I
that
popped
shit.
him up. I popped him up with the Storm B assist, and then I
Yep.
did the fucking Tempest. That's all I used to do.
Yeah,
Storm
yeah,
B
yeah.
assist is run away, run away, run away. You call your assist. I call mine. It pops him up. Fierce fears. And if
Yeah.
I get the snap, it's bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. Like that's something that.
But the
people
roundhouse thing
do.
is real.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, because he can DHC in 3 ways. The assist dies
Yeah.
as long as it's not Sentinel as long as it's not Iron Man at the end. He's good money, right?
Yeah.
That's OD. That's a strong
That's
thing.
that's house money, baby.
What I'm saying is that like people, and I'm saying this because people don't realize how the fuck they were losing in the beginning. Because sure, all of you may know how to do it, but none of you were paying attention to your fucking assists. I'm gonna say everybody. Right? Because like your shit is bleeding, and you're like, how the fuck is it at 99% death? Like, how am I almost dead?
Right.
And it's like I haven't even gotten hit yet. And that's one of the things that I feel is like when I watch Ken play, he's slaughtering your assists.
He's a monster at that, dude. He punishes everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
and like more and more people are doing that now, and I think that that's one thing I'm seeing a big difference in the meta now. So like that may also change how teams play, right? Because we've always said in New York the conversation for Cable assist versus any other assist is that if you counter call with Cable, you now have some time to mount an offense without any counter calls.
Yeah, it creates a
Happening, right?
one-on-one situation, right?
Yeah, so we've always said that. So like
Hmm.
that's always been kind of like, in conversation, and we do it as well, but it's not necessarily something that I see really. I guess I don't see people use that enough. And I mean it in a way where, like, with any assist, where if Cyclops is hitting, now you have your turn to try to do something, um, instead of focusing on the assist. If you do get a hit on an assist from far away, then you start messing the assist up, right? I just think it's more so we play better. People are playing better against assists now than they were in the past, and I would like to see more variety. I mean, there's more variety now, but more variety in top tier teams when it comes to the upper echelon players. So, like, really, like, break through that. So I mean, that's just kind of getting on that. But my main thing is assist punishing is
Yeah,
much better now.
you gotta hit the assist. If you see him out, even a little hit,
Do
Yeah.
do
just
something
make
to him,
sure
huh?
that you have you're a plus, So just punish any way you
Oh
can.
yeah.
Do a fierce rocket punch, whatever, launch them. But it adds
Yeah.
Yeah.
up. It
Well,
adds
Right.
up.
Josh is right.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, the only players that kind of conditioned people to stop calling assists at a certain point were cable players, right? Once they
Yes.
built 3 meters, people would
Yeah.
Cable
stop.
score.
I
Yeah.
mean,
But now,
I feel like Combo Fiend did that too back in the day.
Yeah.
oh
He
yeah,
was
yeah, of
OD
course.
at it. He was OD at
Yeah,
it. But that's what I'm saying. Also, it's like, now don't call an assist on me. That shit is getting propulsor blast. It's getting 7 hits.
of course,
And
of course, video does it.
Oh man, video.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why when we were like thinking of who Roundhouse played like, we actually, me and Bill at least, we thought he played like Combo Fiend,
Okay.
like in a very like similar kind of like punishy type of style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, and it's very effective now because people are not used to that type of thing anymore. So let me hear from Jason about the same question, if you remember, like where you at in terms of like the current meta of the game, and as far as Santax and MSP being like the two teams overused, and do you feel that other teams can hang with this level of meta that they're at consistently?
All right, so just to clarify, we're talking at the highest level, right?
The highest level, correct?
Okay, so at the highest level, I think MSP is the best team in a 2 out of 3 setting, right? The bullshit factor of that team in a 2 out of 3 setting is too good.
Thanks,
You can't
Potter.
Yeah.
compete with the double snap. With that being said, I think a lot of other teams, like mainly trap teams and stuff like that, they're not explored enough.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah,
reason for
sure.
that is because is the time requirement you have to put in with those teams to even reach a fractional of the level of success you would get with MSP or Thrax is too much,
Right.
right? You have to put in
Mhm.
way too much time.
Your whole
Now,
life.
yeah, pretty much. Now, the only other teams I think can compete with MSP and Thrax at the highest level is some sort of Iron Man team because it has that level of bullshit,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Where you're not allowing your opponent to play. Now, I think MSP and Thrax, there's a clear difference between those two teams and the rest of the teams in the game.
Right.
Right? It's just really apparent. Santhrax neutral is ridiculous. You got a wall of lightning and you got a spit
Mm-hmm.
and you got a one touch DHC, and MSP is the best up close team, period.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't attack it. And the thing about MSP is that even if you're fighting an offensive player, you're forcing them to play defense.
Right. Right.
So your offense is never gonna shine when you fight an MSP because they have to respect Cyblade so much. So I'm gonna take the opposite route from these guys, and I don't think at the highest level there is any other team that can compete with MSP and Santhrax, with the exception of some Iron Man bullshit team that I don't know about. Though that's
Right.
the only thing. I think trap teams, and here's another thing about MSP and Thrax, you can't really name a bad matchup for those two teams.
Right.
There's none,
Right.
right? Like people say, oh, Team Scrub beats Santhrax. It really doesn't.
No,
No,
it
it
doesn't.
doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah,
It's like 50-50. Well,
yeah.
well, I think more so Thrax has an advantage slightly.
I mean, no, it's a bad matchup depending on starting, but overall, like I don't think I think it's a 50-50 overall. But if somebody's starting Scent and I start Cable, that's a problem. Like
Yeah.
regardless of how fast your shit is, like
Yeah,
you get shot.
but the thing is, you have answers with the team, right?
Yeah.
You can switch your order around
Right.
to
Yeah.
accommodate.
I feel like
So
that's the only downfall of Santhrax is the fact that you can't have like the order is the most important thing about the team is the first two slots, but that's it.
right,
Even
but
even even
what?
so with the Scrub Santhrax match, even if they start Cable and you start Sentinel, it's still overcomable because they only have one level and
One
you do
bar,
have a
yeah,
counter
yeah.
call.
Yeah.
It's I mean
So
I'm not
the
saying it's in
point,
Santhrax's favor, but it's not as horrible as a matchup could possibly
Yeah,
be.
I get what you're saying. I don't mean to
Right.
split hairs, Jason. Sorry.
no,
Continue.
no, it's fine. The point I'm trying to make is that when you talk about bad matchups in regards to those two teams, you're gonna
Mhm.
have the conversation that we just had.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's 50-50. Yeah, it could win. But if I say, yo, Team Matrix, does it have a bad matchup? Everyone's gonna say Santhrax,
Yeah.
right? If Team Road does it have a bad matchup? MSP.
MSP.
Yeah, Storm Center Cable, MSP. You know, like they're significant weaknesses to the other teams,
Hmm.
whereas MSP and Santhrax, they don't have them.
Right.
So I think at the highest level, when you have a player that can play the team to play an optimal MSP, an optimal Santhrax, play it the way it's supposed to be played, uh, the other teams, their weaknesses are going to shine through, and you're not going to be able to cope. Even like when I was thinking about this question, I thought about maybe Duck could do well in a long set
Yes. Duck.
with
Mhm.
Spiral Cable Sent, but even so, it's like it's an uphill battle for him.
Hmm.
You know, like it's not going to be easy for him to overcome a perfect MSP or a perfect Santhrax. You know, so
Right. Because against MSP, you got to figure out how many times is he gonna get away in the beginning, because
yep,
that'll play a factor, right? And then
yep,
like Santhrax, it's probably not horrible for him, but like Spiral against like Scent Cap, like he's very very good at the matchup. But
right,
I still think it's a semi tough matchup for her at the highest level.
yeah.
What about?
So,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Continue.
No, Jason got the floor. Go ahead.
so what I was gonna say, in regards to new players who are maybe getting interested in the game or whatnot, yeah, you can compete with other teams up until a specific threshold. And
Right,
then you hit that threshold, and then you realize, God damn, MSP is bullshit. God damn, Santhrax is bullshit. And then you're gonna have to pick those teams, bro. You're
right.
gonna have to. So yeah, I mean, and let's even look at 2009, around when Marvel was dying out. Justin was picking Matrix, and he was having a hell of a hard time with MSP.
Yeah.
You know, like even Justin couldn't really overcome it. So I don't know. That's my answer. I think MSP and Thrax are the two top teams in the game, and I really don't see any other team fucking with them except a Iron Man team. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like
I've never
so
had to go through any of the struggles you guys had to.
yeah,
Sorry,
like so like
continue.
to really make a little piggyback on what Jason said about like new players. Like I think about this all the time, right? And not to make this a topic, I just want to say this and like we just move quite on. When I think about Yipes versus Ken, like two amazing players, right? But like it to me, it's just unfortunate that Ken's best team is MSS and Yipes' best team is MSP, and for that reason, I feel that Ken is never gonna be able to beat Yipes in a first to 10, like a comfortable first to 10. You know what I mean? Like
Unless he pick MSP himself.
yeah, or if he because his Thrax is not like defensive enough in my opinion to be able to fight Yipes, because you're not gonna like be able to take attacking risks against Yipes and that be a winning strategy for a 10 game set, you know?
And it's like I said too, Chris. When Yipes is using MSP, can no longer play offense.
Yeah,
He has to play defense.
right. So like when I think about new players and they're coming up and they're gonna run into people using these teams, and it's gonna be hard for them to really learn and get better because these teams are privileged. And you could be playing somebody that's Pringles, can't block, and you can have good offense, but you can't exploit that if they have Psylocke, you know what I mean? Or if
I
they have
mean,
command, yeah, or if they have commando and you can't really lock them in or something like that, you know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah.
that's what I think about with new players, and I'm like, if someone was like, hey, I want to get into the game, like, am I doing them a disservice and telling them like, yeah, you can just get good with your team and you'll be able to do well, or should I just say, listen, just skip the bullshit, pick the actual MSP, and you'll be on your way. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be like that because I'm a big fan of diversity. I do feel this game has the diversity. I do think that other teams can, but I think you just got to work extremely hard and you have to reach a certain level. But like realistically, how many players are going to be able to do that, right? So
The
it's
other teams also help build your fundamentals, though, so you can't just skip.
yeah, they do.
You know,
Yeah,
you got to play
absolutely.
other teams to build your fundamentals and then get to the MSP Santrax shit.
Right, right.
I do think MSS fights Santhrax pretty well.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, at the
Absolutely.
highest level. Yeah, so
Absolutely,
that
yeah,
was my only
absolutely.
thing
But
about
then,
the
but then, like
skill
it's gonna
battle.
come down to this, right? So MSS beats the Santhrax, and then like if the person is proficient with every team, he's gonna be like, okay, you play MSS,
MSP.
I'm gonna pick
Yep.
MSP. Like you can't avoid that counter
Yeah.
situation. It's gonna come down to it. Like no matter
get
how good the team role player is, if somebody has a pocket MSP, they're gonna try it. Even if it doesn't work, they're gonna be like, hey, you know what? This is I'm gonna pick MSP. You find some like really different type of people playing MSP against certain teams because it's an advantage. Like Sue's one of the few people, like aside from like I'm talking about like from the past, like you'll see a lot of Thraxes or Stormset players like pick MSP to fight MSP, right? But Sue's one of the few people I've seen that was an MSP main and he'd actually play Thrax to fill somebody out too. Like he'll counter another MSP to avoid the mirror match sometimes and play Thrax. And I was like, wow, like he's actually going with that option against MSP rather than trying to go MSP. And I'm sure like Potter can attest to that. I'm sure like you've seen Sue's Thrax against MSPs. I don't know how well he used to do. I just seen what was on screen, but I felt like he did fairly well. Playing those matchups sometimes too.
Yeah, his strat was pretty good. Mostly because his storm was crazy, like really fast.
Mm-hmm.
But his Sentinel was like the fundamentals were kind of lacking.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
I actually think the MSS Santrax match, I feel like Thrax wins that. I don't know, I might be in the minority, but I feel like Santrax wins that.
So we'll get back to that because I
Yeah.
actually do want to talk about that. But
Yeah.
so let me hear from Mike because I know Mike has pretty much did his whole Marvel career playing team role. He's like one of the very few team role players that stuck with the team and still plays the team. And
Why, bro? Why?
Mike's no, but Mike is good, right? He's a good player, but now like it's no secret, like Mike is not completely optimal with the team. So I always say like if Mike got completely optimal with the team, like both orders, that would be a extremely scary sight. So like Mike, how do you feel?
With that, I can agree with that. About wait, what's the question though? How do I feel about?
Like in terms of the way the meta is right now, how most of the time it always comes down to MSP and Santhrax. You being a non-MSP Santhrax player predominantly, like how do you feel like the other teams can win at the highest level versus those two teams? And try to speak up, Mike. They said you a little low.
I'm below.
Okay, I hear you good, but the stream said you a little low.
I think I do think MSP and Thrax are the best teams. Um, because if you think about it, like, all right, if I play an MSP player, right, and or a person that picks MSP, they try to counter me or whatever. They're not an MSP player, so they just pick it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more reluctant to just pick Thrax on them as a counter because if they're not an MSP player, then that's a pretty much easy win because they don't know how to use the team correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's free damage, and I don't have to worry about avoiding Silaga. It's just free damage. That team, that's how good the team is. But it's vice versa. If someone picked like MSS on me or something else, I could get away with picking MSP too. So they're probably both the best. They're probably both the best teams. Mm, from not playing a team and not maining those teams, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think I did that more off of enjoyment. I don't know. I enjoy playing. I enjoyed like playing Magneto, having a pocket cable, and just doing whatever I want to do, and then shooting people whenever.
Hmm.
I don't know, man, but I mean, meta wise, those are probably the two best teams. I mean, I obviously play them the most. How many? I played like what, three MSPs at Evo, four Thraxes, and a Strider Doom or something. Like it's kind of like inevitable to run into those teams.
Right. And so,
Yeah.
like, what's your comfort level? Like, say we had like a huge Evo where everybody that's currently playing, was in there. You know what I mean? Like, what's your
Mhm.
comfort level of you playing like Team Road throughout that whole tournament? Like, how do you feel? Like you would, like, how
It's
comfortable are you?
I mean,
I
I mean,
mean,
I
yeah, I
did
know
it.
that's what you do,
I
but
do
like,
it. Yeah. I mean, I would always be comfortable just because I guess I played the teams so many times. Like you kind of see, like if I'm not playing some, if the MSP isn't like Yipes,
hmm,
then I'm not worried. You know what I mean?
okay,
Like they're doing a lot less. There's just a lot less I gotta look out for. So it's kind of comfy. You know, they'll always call Psylocke. I get a free cable call, and then Psylocke's gone for a while. Like so, like I'm never really worried. Same thing with Thraxes. It's kind of like they don't got defense, so it's not like Justin. I don't really got to worry about stuff. So as long as I could just hit them, they're probably gonna die. They don't
hmm,
know how to function whenever they lose Sentinel in cap.
right. So you can
Like
you can pretty much you can pretty much play the player at that point.
yeah, but like in terms of like meta, like highest meta though, like what Jason was saying, like at the highest level, like I don't think I could fuck with those teams even if it was the highest level row. I
Right.
think it's still difficult. I think so. Those teams are the best, and I agree with Jason. Like I mean, I've always said this, the highest level, like to me, Iron Man's probably the best. So like if someone like Yipes were the main Iron Man, it'd probably be fucked up for a lot of people. It's already and it's crazy because it's already fucked up. So you got to worry about MSP, and Iron Man kind of doesn't let you play at all. So you don't even got to worry about resets. You just gonna die off of these long combos. Josh 360 does it already, but he's not like he's obviously not Yipes, but it's a high enough level. Same thing with math. Same thing with world.
Hmm.
Like it is that, and I said that kind of like if Roundhouse kind of was OD with Iron Man, it'd be kind of scary. He
Yeah.
he would do a lot of damage because that to me that character is the meta. He's one touch kill solo. He could do whatever he wants. No wrong can be done. This guy can cancel everything, flights, whatever the fuck, launches into flights. He could infinite you from the top of the screen. I mean, Magneto can too, but it's extra hard.
Hmm.
Like that's only Ken does that, which is still the highest level. But yeah, I would say MSP Thrax and maybe like maybe Combo Fiend is probably I think the best Iron Man team because they got Mag and Iron Man and Sentinel.
It might be Team George, Mag, Iron Man, Psylocke. To be honest,
I don't think that's the best
That's
one.
Nah,
to me.
that's
To me,
definitely
that's the
not the best one.
scariest one.
it's
It
scary
is
as
That yeah,
fuck.
scary.
that
It is
was
scary. But
that was
that's not the
scary.
best overall best. I think Combo Fiend might be overall best.
Yeah, it is. The problem with Magneto, Iron Man, Psylocke is that you could get lamed out. You guys could have also seen
Right.
George not be able to do anything to Desmond
Hmm.
Right.
whatsoever.
Right.
So like, yeah, it
Versus
gets lamed
versus
out.
if you got Sentinel in the pocket, you could you're a little more active. You got a lot of more armor. You crazy damage. Like there's a lot of flexibility with that team. Even not gonna lie, Iron Man Doom or Iron Man Cable is kind of scary too, but I don't know yet at a full level.
Iron Man Cable is one of the best duos that Iron Man has.
I
Yeah,
also think runner up for top meta team would be MSC, but that's just me.
Oh no, no, you know how I feel about that already.
I I think MSC is an incredible team. A lot of people don't play it because it's difficult,
Yeah.
and that's how you can kind of see how good MSP is because people kind of scrub out like I'm not disrespecting MSP any MSP player right now, but like if you gave like Crizzle or Jason MSC, they probably wouldn't perform as well because it's a whole different game. But it's
Run it.
super
Run the
strong
first
team.
10.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with that shit. Run it.
I'm saying, man, you got if you picked MSC, it's a different team, but it's OD. I think it's way stronger than MSP, but that's just me.
I think a real Mag Storm player will be able to play the team efficiently, but I think a lot of fraudulent MSPs, if they switch the psych, it'd be a whole different story. And
Right,
I'm not
right.
gonna I'm not gonna like name any like fraudulent MSPs, but that's how I feel.
No, but no, this is true. I'm saying, but Psylocke allows for a lot of ease of pressure in terms of doing certain things.
Right.
I mean, obviously, a Magstorm player is going to be able to do Magstorm shit regardless of the assist. They could pick MST and do the same shit, but
Cyclops.
He puts you on your back.
Media.
Cyclops is a little. I think it's harder work. It's like playing Matrix. Like it's not easy.
Yeah.
Storm
it's
Psyche
not.
is not easy at all to use. So I think it's very strong. I think it's a close runner up for high meta team too. Then yeah, Iron Man team. Then probably MSS row at highest level, and then Storms and also Storms and Cable.
Okay. So let's talk about Iron Man teams, right?
Chris, you skipping Crizzle, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I thought I started with Crizzle.
Nah, you started
No,
rounds.
you didn't, man.
Oh, Crizzle. I apologize, my brother.
Fucked up.
I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
you all good.
I'm sorry.
I'm
Get
super
ahead, Crizzle.
chilling.
Go ahead.
Messed
I'm
up
sorry.
there.
I'm so
Don't
sorry.
let them do that to you.
Yeah, you're right.
I've
Go
been
ahead,
very
Crizzle.
patient.
Yes, you have. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I kind of agree with most of y'all. I think, Thrax and MSP are the top teams. I think Iron Man has just crept up the ladder, man. I think he's dangerous. I think he's bullshit. I think he's just too good. If you got somebody who can catch you with mag, and they got Iron Man behind you, you're done. I think Team Roundhouse's team is really good too. I think it shows like
I think that's the best team.
what
yeah.
you think your team is the best team or the best Iron Man team?
I think my team is the best team. I think so.
I mean, yeah.
Because
I mean, it's really good.
I shit on MSPs. Like if someone wants to pick MSP on me, dude, I'm ready for that. Like
So that's what I was gonna say. I think the Team Roundhouse is just as good as, like, I don't know. I played some Santhraxes. I think it's pretty good against MSP. I think it's really good against MSP. Like the way that he has the Typhoon that goes up in the air and all that other bullshit and all the little lame stuff. I think it's pretty damn good because most Thraxes don't play with the Typhoon that goes in the air.
No, because
And
it's
then
not
like
it's not too necessary because they already have a vertical assist.
Yeah, you wouldn't need that.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like now it's like you snap in Iron Man, like you want to snap in Commando. You snap in Iron Man, he can kind of get out with the flight. If you miss up your stuff, he hits you and he infinites you, hike all the way to the corner. And it's like if you're not, or if you try to go behind him, he comes down with the roundhouse on the on the ground. So I feel like it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of tricky with the Iron Man. That boy then climbed up the ranks.
Yeah, Iron Man is really good. Whenever I fight Iron Man online, I make sure he dies. I play super lame against him.
Absolutely.
Because I know every launch will go into an infinite.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think the same as you guys. Like I think it's like Thrax, MSP, and then I feel like I don't know, like maybe like an Iron Man team, like how Jason said, like just come in and do some bullshit. But other than that, that's really all I have to say about that.
Okay.
Maybe some trap teams. Maybe some trap teams too, like the Ducto's team. Not too many people played it. Like up here in NorCal, like John Choi used to play that team, and he was really good with that team. And you just kind of be basic and chip out and learn how to block. And do that, but not a lot of people explored it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's all I really have to say about that. And I wanted to ask you guys a question too,
Yep.
like for the New York Cats. So I feel like a lot of you guys feel that Thrax is the best team, right? I mean, I wouldn't say it's not. I wouldn't say it is. But do you guys think that? Because I mean, obviously, you guys have the best Thraxes up there. Desmond and Sanford, and even Nex knows how to use that shit like that. I mean, when you guys go to the West, are you guys like even tripping on like
It
our
depends on
Thraxes?
it depends on what side of the bed I wake up on
Yeah,
with those two teams. Either way, it can either be MSP one day or Thrax. Really, like they're so close, man. There's always gonna be a debate.
I mean,
It is
Yo,
it is
yo,
close.
yo. That's a good point, Crizzle. Crizzle brought up a good point because you guys are talking about the two best teams, and you guys are saying MSP and Thrax. I think that's like
yeah,
a East Coast thing because on the West Coast,
yeah.
MSP and Thrax ain't shit. Like, can't be serious with that, bro. Because we got players like Lockdown. Like, if you can't beat Lockdown, Lockdown's a fucking good player. And if he gets going and his execution's on point, you ain't beating him.
Well, I'm not so sure I agree with that,
Yeah.
Roundhouse, because I feel
Stop playing with me, bro. Stop playing with me.
I feel Pasadena dominates a nice amount out there, and in terms of like, if you look at like y'all West Coast round robin, Pasadena won that. He's won that big online tournament. He wins a lot in sets. I'm not saying he wins all the time, right?
I don't think
But
that Pasadena. I don't think that West Coast round robin was. I don't think it was legitimate. That's my honest opinion.
what is
because it was-
legitimate? What do you mean by like?
was
Are
that?
you saying people? Are you saying people let him win?
No, I'm saying that the field
I beat
and the players.
Pasadena.
Yeah,
But you play MSP too. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's talking about MSP
Yeah.
and Thax and Wash out there. But I'm saying like
I'm
if
talking about the field, the players on the West Coast round robin. It wasn't. A
so
good
like,
field
but
of
if you look at
players.
who's been winning the turn, it hasn't been that many tournaments. But from what we have to go on, I think the big tournament that you threw, Roundhouse, right? Pasadena won that. He beat Canada in the grand finals, correct?
I think it was once, right?
He did, yeah.
I think once, but I'm not downplaying MSP. Pasadena is a good
Really
player.
good.
Yeah, super good.
To
One
me,
of the best.
in terms of like tournament play, he's the most consistent out there.
No,
Aside from like
people-
Ken and Duck, you know what I mean? He's
Also, you
he's
don't
pretty
have-
much been the most consistent.
You don't
Because
have a lot of Santhrax players out there. Period. Like name your Santhrax specialists. You don't have
No.
any.
We got Telly, Regency Rob. We got
Telly's not
Regency
just
Rob.
Telly's not just
Telly's
Santhrax.
growing.
He's
player.
like
He plays
everything.
for-
And I
yeah.
haven't,
on.
and also
The
I
only
haven't seen
Santhrax
Telly
guys
in
have-
turn. Like I haven't seen Telly in a lot of things. Like he's
Yeah.
like,
No, the Santhrax.
Telly's
Bill-
strongest team is
Bill?
Thrax.
Bill's really good
but
with
he's not.
Sandrax.
So let me rephrase my question. Name your Santhrax mains, like the people that don't deviate from that team.
Regency
think
West,
Abs.
multiple laser, ass
Okay.
mode, abs.
You got
Um,
Wes, Asmo. No, Asmo don't play. Thrax.
Asmo plays
Crimson Strike.
Matrix.
Yeah, he plays Matrix. So you got Rob, you got Wes. You can't
Yeah,
even put
Telly.
Potter on that list because Potter plays every other team, every
Yeah.
other
Pulls
Storm
the gun
Sun team.
out. He pulls out the
Maybe
MSP and
Bill.
he's
Bill
salty.
plays.
Bill.
Bill plays.
Bill plays MSS. You
and
don't.
MS
he-
and that other team though. Just those two though, right?
Yeah, but you don't really have like a Thrax specialist.
like yeah,
when
like
you-
to me, Bill's
Yeah.
main team is MSS, and
For
and
sure.
he's very
Yeah.
very good with Thrax also. You know,
Yeah.
like if there was no MSP in the building, I think Bill would just play the whole tournament with MSS.
I mean, but just to kind of like put the ball back in your court, Roundhouse. Why do you think that MSP and Santhrax aren't like a big deal over there?
Because it's not. We have teams that could beat it, and we have players. I think our player base is more diverse. Our player base is more smart, tactical. Have different type of strategies that aren't typical. I think. Like, come on. Like I said, lockdown. If he's on point, no one's fucking with him. We got Duck Doe. If he's on point, even if Duck Doe's not on point, no one's fucking with him. You got all these other players. You got like Regency Rotron. He's still fucking good. You got Andy Doom. You got me. Ken doesn't even play MSP. He plays MSS, and he's the best player on this fucking coast, bro. I'm like,
Can I just revisit something then? Because when I think some of the best players that have ever come out there, most of them were MSPs and Santhraxes. We have Neo, that was like he won. They won the team tournament. MSP and a Santhrax, which were Chris Schmidt and Neo, which are two of the best players that have come out from their region. I'm not going to say that they are the absolute best, but Chris Schmidt arguably yes, right? Like they were MSPs and Santhraxes, and they were untouchable.
Right,
And
not
I
to
think that was
not.
back then.
Well, no, but no. All right, let me ask you a straight up question, Rouse. Right, and not discrediting
Chris
any.
Matrix, and I mean, not Chris Matrix. Chris Schmidt is not coming back and beat nobody.
So
right
you
now.
don't feel
done
if
his thing.
you don't feel if Schmidt was at 100%, he would be viable over there in the West Coast.
It'll be good against MSP is MSP, but if you want to put me against Chris Schmidt ain't seeing me. I'll put it straight.
Okay, even if that were the case, right? Even if that were the case, you're one person.
You, bro. We talking about the matchup.
We're talking about as a whole. But we're talking about as a whole.
God, this guy's a fucking clown.
We're talking
We're
about
talking about matchups against.
no,
MSP and Thrax.
Roundhouse.
You guys are just talking about MSP and Thrax, but you guys are forgetting about other teams. I
No,
don't think I don't think Chris Schmidt would beat Duck Doe. I don't think Chris Schmidt would beat Lockdown. I don't think Chris Schmidt would beat Ken.
Chris
okay.
Schmidt-
So
Chris
hang
Schmidt
on.
has
All right, hang on. Hold on. Wait. So we're gonna.
This is back in the day. You're forgetting people got a lot better. You forgot people.
Okay, one sec.
grinding their lane.
Let me hear some opinions of your fellow coastmen. Potter, how do you feel about that?
I don't want mute.
I was taking a deuce.
how do I feel about Chris Schmidt coming back?
If Chris Schmidt was 100% right at his peak, do you feel he would be relevant over there on the West Coast, or
He'd
do
be
you
the best
feel
player in the
that
world.
you said what?
He's really good, bro.
Yes,
He'd be the
very
best
good.
player in the world. He'd be better than Yipes, better than Ken, better than everyone.
Man,
I like that.
He was better than Yipes back then, and I think if he was the same, he'd be better now.
That's an argument. That's an actual argument.
That's an argument.
Yeah.
That's an argument.
That's an argument, but that was back then.
I mean, all right. There's also one thing that, like, all right. So that same thing that I was talking about, where people kind of forget how to do things past a certain time. I also think that you guys are kind of forgetting how good people actually were at that point. It's not that we were good like it was 2002, right? Like we had
no,
those
people
kinds of
were
tactics.
good.
Yeah.
Endgame Marvel
Very,
people
very
were
good.
very incredible. Like
Very good.
even Mega Man Steve, who was playing fucking Mega Man Blackheart Cable, was like actually could have even beaten Fnatic at that point. With somebody who's also playing with one button dash, who was also extremely fast with MSP. A lot of those players in Endgame Marvel were incredible. There were so many really good players. I'm just kind of getting the idea that you guys kind of forget how good people were then. I understand we don't have to talk about the past and always pay homage to that shit, right? But I don't bring the bar down from the past just because these people aren't playing now. I'm not saying, Chris Schmidt, you guys ain't fucking with him. Who cares? Chris Schmidt ain't playing. He's not fucking with you guys. That's the current shit, right? But I also don't want to say that at 100% Chris Schmidt, he wouldn't be viable now. That's just absurd. Like I understand that
Facts.
constantly hearing about the past is annoying, right? I get that, but we're not gonna downplay that shit either.
Yeah, and in my opinion,
downplaying
right?
it.
No, so Roundhouse, look, in my opinion, right? If all you guys in the West Coast had 10 tournaments, and with Duck and Ken included, and Chris Schmidt was the same Chris Schmidt from back then, I can definitely see Chris Schmidt winning at least 2 of those tournaments.
Hell nah, bro. I didn't beat all of those fools.
I said, Crizzle, I said out of 10. I said out of 10. So that means there's 8 more for you to win, Crizzle. There's 8 more for you to, but he what if he doesn't run into you?
I mean, I don't know. He got it.
He got it. What? What if like Crizzle, what if you lose the Potter and then you lose the Lockdown or something? You know, but like anything can happen in any given day. You guys
I
are
don't
so
think that the Strider. I don't think that the Strider. I love Lockdown. Lockdown is the homie. Personally, I don't think Strider Doom even fucks with MSP at all. I just don't see that.
Okay, so but granted, like the point is like
That's
in a
100. That's
tournament,
one thing.
Crizzle, I
Yeah.
can't say that you would win all 10 tournaments. So in a span
I
of
don't
10
think I'll
tournaments,
win them. I'm saying I'll beat one of them in there.
no,
beat one of
but that's
them.
why I said Chris Schmidt will win at least 2 of the tournaments. I didn't say he would
Yeah,
win
that
all the
motherfucker was
time.
really good back then, bro.
Yeah,
Like, he was very good. Like, I trained with Chris Schmidt. I mean, I like when Roundhouse says that. Like, I don't agree with him. I mean, I mean, I fuck with Roundhouse. I've seen Chris Schmidt play, man. Like every team,
we
bro.
all
Like,
we all have.
yeah, like
we
I
know how good
trained
he
with
is.
Chris Schmidt. Like that was like training buddy of mine. Like that's how I learned a lot from Chris Schmidt. And he
Yeah, I'm
was
not
nasty,
downplaying it.
bro.
Chris Schmidt
Yeah,
is nasty. I'm not
yeah,
downplaying it, but I'm saying right now, I don't think
yeah.
he's gonna
Right
do it.
now, I mean, you can't just
But
jump up in there and play.
wait, if Pasadena is doing his thing out there, why do you think Schmidt won't? You feel Pasadena's better than Schmidt?
I think Pasadena is better than Schmidt.
All right, that's fair. I
That might be
disagree.
an unpopular opinion.
No,
But
I disagree, but that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe it's like with me, right? I'm not the best. I'm not. Never been nothing like that. I just play MSP. I mean, that's not like I'm coming in with a new meta. It's not like I'm training with hella people, but I
hmm
still fuck people up. And I'm pretty sure he could do the same if he played a little bit.
I mean, you're playing MSP, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm doing anything new. It's not like I'm training with hella people. It's not like I'm doing anything. I'm just playing what I used to play back then at a sloppier level.
well,
hmm
the reason why it got on Chris Schmidt was because of the MSP and Thrax thing that I was
Right.
downplaying.
Yeah.
Because MSP and Thrax, I'm downplaying because on the West Coast, you act like we fear MSP or Thrax.
No, you
Like,
don't have to
that doesn't
fear
make
it,
no
Yeah, you
sense.
Roundhouse.
don't have
But
to fear
but
it.
but Roundhouse, if you look at the like you guys' history of the tournament, the relevant tournaments where like a lot of people in, like the biggest tournament that I seen you guys do as of like the most recent was the one you did that was everything was 3 out of 5, and Pasadena won that tournament with all you killers in it when you had the 16-man bracket. Pasadena won that tournament, Roundhouse.
Yeah, but on the same note, online MSP is different than DC MSP. So
Yeah.
um,
What about the
it's a
Null
lot different.
Renaissance?
Yeah, Crizzle won that one, and I was in grand finals with him.
Yeah.
And
I won one of those
Everybody
too.
was there. Yeah.
So I mean, MSP's doing its thing, and the last offline tournament that you guys had, that was when Watson did the round robin. Like MSP won that too.
Oh, really? Who won that?
Pasadena.
Oh, yeah.
And just to clarify, to like when we were talking about these, like even Chris told me at the beginning, because he knows my confidence when it comes to fighting those teams, is like
Yeah.
put confidence aside. Let's talk about the teams, because I think I could beat any fucking team with Combo Fiend. It doesn't.
Right.
I don't give two shits about.
I know you can.
Yeah. So like, yeah, it's like I get a hit, whatever. Nothing matters, right? It doesn't matter what the.
Yeah,
You can have 4 Magnetos somehow. It doesn't fucking matter. It's the first one, you all die. But
I know
it's
you
like,
can.
yeah, it's like I think Santhrax and MSC are a problem, but there is something that I'm getting from the confidence that Roundhouse is exuding here, and I think that's a big key in fighting the teams as well, right?
Right.
Because I think Roundhouse, the way that you feel about it, is what makes you so successful versus the teams on your coast as well. Because like you know that you can impose your will on these teams regardless of what the fuck they're capable of, right? Like I've seen you fuck up MSPs. It looks like for a while MSPs like your team is just a bad matchup for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it got to the point where people stopped picking MSP against me, and they rather pick fucking Thrax just to have a chance.
Yeah. It's definitely not easy.
Yeah, like just to clarify, we're not fearing them, but the teams are OD, dude.
Yeah, we just acknowledge where they're at in terms of rank in the game. And like,
I
do you
think they're
so
the best
do you,
teams.
yeah do you, so Roundhouse, you're saying you disagree with MSP and Thrax being the top 2 teams in the game?
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think the best team in the game is either. Well, I'm biased. I think my team is the best team in the game, but not that many
Why,
people play it. Because I have Storm Scent, and I have a crazy ass Iron Man assist, and then I have the fucking tag. If you get tagged, you you're not playing. And if I get you with if I break your neck, if I hit you with a fucking normal jump roundhouse and break your neck, I'm DHing into hard drive, proton cannon, guard break. You ain't doing nothing. So
Yo, he said, yo, Ronald, you
Wait.
said if I get tagged. Oh gosh. Go ahead, Mike. All right. Oh
Hey,
my gosh.
tag is the new meta.
Oh shit. Hey, listen. It's just funny. It's just funny. I'm not disagreeing. It's funny.
Nah, but what I'm gonna say is this though. What you just said, Roundhouse, is like you're talking about you as a person, and you just said that no one plays your team a lot. So like people play a lot of things that's easy and good. Like that's just nature in every fighting game. So if you don't see a lot of it, that's it. Not to say your team isn't good. I'm not saying that. I just said Iron Man's nice. I think your team is probably second to Combo Fiend, but the case of the matter is like a lot of people don't play it because it's not easy. You know what I mean? Like so it like doesn't make it not good, but the other teams, Thrax and MSP, clearly do a lot more. They've done a lot more damage. They've been around in many more tournaments through the last 20 plus years. So like
You know, yeah.
that's pretty much like you can't dispute facts. You know what I mean? Like those teams are the teams you got to worry about. You have good EXP against them, and you do well versus them. And not to say you're a bad player. I'm not saying you're a bad player. You're a good player. So that shouldn't, you know what I mean? That shouldn't be that.
I think it's more so about you being good than it is that the team alone, like the way you fight things, right? I mean, obviously the team has the capability to fight the teams, so like that means that in part the team can do it.
also,
That team is scrubby.
how about this? So that was my biased pick, but my honest pick of the best team is Storm Sent Cable (SSC), and I believe Sanford said Storm Sent Cable was the best team as well. So it's not just me saying that.
Well,
Even Sanford said that at one point.
Sanford, like, that's not go by what Sanford necessarily says, because Sanford says a lot of different things. You know what I mean?
Bro, the Storm Sun Cable loses horribly to MSP and it loses to
Yeah.
Sandbox.
So one thing
Yeah.
I was going to mention also is that, like, let's say for instance for Storm Sent Iron Man, I think Cable is problematic. If you're fighting Cable on a team with like good just even a Cable that doesn't do dumb shit, that does barely anything and just kind of snipes out your assist, I think Cable is pretty strong against that. So I think Storm Sent Cable naturally, even through the eyes of a Storm Sent Iron Man player, would definitely be like the best. And I think it's one of the best teams in the game as well, honestly. But I don't know if it's the best. But that's interesting to hear you say that. Like, do you feel that way because of fighting it, or because when you use it, you feel the power as well?
I feel like when I use it, I feel the power. Because I used to main that team forever. Like that was legit my main, and I was doing super well with it. But then when I started picking Iron Man, it got so cheap where I might as well just use Iron Man. That shit is super cheap.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Um,
Yeah, it is, dude.
But Storm Sent, you have Storm Sent, and whatever happens, you have Cable as your anchor. And if he comes in with meter, oh man, you're in for a bad time.
So let me.
You have three characters. You have your battery, your middle dude, and then you have a fucking strong ass anchor.
So let me ask. So Potter, let me ask you, right? Because you made that team, and you've played it for quite some time. Like, what's your opinion on that in terms of Storm Sent Cable?
Yeah, I think it's like the fifth best team, maybe.
Okay.
Mm.
I think it loses to MSP.
Mm-hmm.
I think it loses to Thrax if you start Sentinel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just generally has issues because, and that's the issue with like all of the three character teams, right? Except maybe Roundhouse's team or like Team Combo Fiend, and that like you just don't get good synergy with the assist, right? Cable assist is good because it'll get someone off you for like 3 Marvel seconds,
Mm-hmm.
but it gives that if it hits the assist, it gives them like half a meter, and if it hits both characters, it gives them a full meter.
Right.
So it's like it doesn't do much damage, right? Like 5-6%.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really doing anything to really offset like how much the opponent is gaining in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's hard to play Cable when you don't have an anti-air. Like I think you need to be like an elite Cable player to make it work. And that's where he's good, right? At the end of the game, if it's like near the last 20 seconds and you have like Cable or like all three characters with like 10-20%,
Mm-hmm.
like you have a huge advantage over a two character team.
Right.
But it also means you have to be able to fight with like a lot of those characters without their like best assists or advantages, which is like, you know, you have to also learn how to use Sentinel without Capcom, and that's pretty difficult. Like Sent Cable is like solid, but you know it's not as good as like Sent Psych even, or even like Sent Mag. I think
Right.
like it's really hard to do well with it. Like you have to be able to fight basically on your own with all of those characters except maybe Storm, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, and I think the skill level that's necessary is really difficult. And then like if you watch Sanford play Yipes, like you see all of the weaknesses in that team. Like he'll do really well like at the beginning keeping away, and then he'll get hit once and it's like he's screwed, right? He'll either get snapped or he'll get like a fly combo.
Right.
And then it's really hard to come back with that team when you're down.
Yeah.
Also, one
I
thing
try
I
to
want to
play
say
that
about
team.
that team, the whole Cable assist given a 1v1, I think a lot of people don't realize the 1v1 goes both ways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it,
that's what I'm saying. Yup.
yeah, like even
Yeah.
though I'm launching your assist in the air, you still gotta fight me and I gotta fight you. So the better player's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You
Like
know, so
Mag
it's
versus
not a
somebody.
huge deal, and that 1v1 kind of doesn't make up for the holes that assist like Capcom plugs. You know
Right.
what I'm
Well,
saying? The
I-
damage and the top of the screen, the angle, it doesn't make up for it.
I mean, the 1v1 is more so that you know the whole scary part about the matchup at the moment is the assist calls, right? Because like the cap assist is super strong. Like so you do get this Cable assist hitting, right? And you get it launched, you know, as far up as you can. You don't have to worry about the counter call event. You have a better chance of fighting the team. It's not necessarily to say that it's a counter, but it is an ideal situation for fighting it, because normally if you're fighting it, you don't want to have that assist coming out, and Cable's already on the ground. That
Yeah,
scimitar is
but
going up by itself.
you're just making the matchup even at that
No,
point.
no, but
The matchup's just even.
But you get your assist back before they do. Cable's already on the ground. Cable doesn't go all the way up with Commando. He launches them all the way up. He hits the ground. He gets out, and you have another assist.
Yeah, you do get you do get it back before.
Yeah, it's not a
But
1v1.
it has a but it more has to be a character that can exploit the 1v1. You know, like Magneto's
Like
scary
Magneto.
1v1. Yeah.
Like Magneto, that's
But
why
if it's
Team
like
Rogue-
Storm versus Sentinel, like that's not necessarily bad for him in a 1v1.
Correct, but that's why I brought that up during the Magneto row, because 1v1 versus Magneto with an assist at that point, and you got nothing to countercall him. That's scary, dude.
Yeah.
I don't care what team you got. That shit is scary.
But I mean, in my opinion, I don't think any Cable team can be the best team because Cable teams get exploited way too well.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I agree.
So like, I don't think a Cable team could ever be the best team in the game. That's because Magneto's in the game.
Yes.
So, you know that just I don't know.
And you're a Cable player. So.
A team with Cable on it,
Yeah,
Duck.
no, I know that. I know that all day. I mean, but Duck's team is different. But
No, Duck said what's a Cable team?
Oh, yeah,
I'm
any
saying-
team with Cable. Yeah, so like Rogue, Duck's team, Scrub, Storm Sand Cable. Like most of those teams will never be the best team.
So let me ask you guys this last question before I'm through, right? So I want to talk like Iron Man and Cable, right? Did Iron Man like officially like evolve to the fourth best, or do you think Cable's still there? And like, you know, talk in terms of the characters and talk in terms of team, like Iron Man based teams or teams with Iron Man on it and teams with Cable on it. You know, like what you guys think is better, more effective, you know? So let's start with Potter. Talk about Iron Man teams and Cable teams, and do you feel Iron Man is better than Cable now?
I don't think Iron Man is better than Cable. For
Okay.
the simple reason is that I think his movement is too slow. And if you have decent experience against Iron Man on Dreamcast, then you can really predict his mix-ups and like his air dashes. Like they're just too slow to like compete with like Mag, Storm, Sentinel, and even Cable if he has the right assist, right? One on one, I think Iron Man wins, right? But that doesn't mean he's a better character just because he wins the one on one matchup. But team wise, like you guys were talking about earlier, Iron Man teams are definitely more lethal than Cable teams because you can do one touch kill, right? Like that's always an option. Cable doesn't have that, and then Cable has a lot of bad matchups. Like his only really good matchup in the top 4 is Sentinel, and that's if he has like he still has to have good assists, right?
Yeah.
Aside from that, like Magneto destroys him, Storm destroys him. Like the only reason he's good is because people run into him and don't know the matchup. In my opinion, like he's a really good character, and he's my favorite character. I like him a lot, but he's really limited because he doesn't have an air dash, he doesn't have flight mode, and a lot of his moves just aren't safe against the quicker characters. That said, I mean, Iron Man is. I think Iron Man teams are probably better than Cable teams, like the ones we've been talking about. I think they have a better chance against like the top teams. But Iron Man as a character, I still don't think he's better than Cable.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Crizzle?
I think I think he passed the motherfucker in the relay race in the fucking Olympics, boy. I think he's raw as shit. I think he's so good. I think he fights the main characters, the main 4, better than Cable. I think he just fights them better. He can do what he wants. He can run away. He can smart bomb. He can rush you down. He can do everything.
Yeah.
Kind of jealous that I didn't play him.
All right.
He got dope. I think Josh started like opening the doors, and then like Josh came through with this crazy stuff, and then it's like Killer Kelly math, like the stuff that they're doing. If they had like a Magneto, oh my god, I wouldn't even know like how that would be.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Mike. I know how Mike feels. You did.
Yeah, now I'm here.
Yeah.
I think uh in terms I get what Potter's saying and I don't disagree, but like if you just look at the characters, like Cable doesn't have a lot of stuff. He has like like you really only lose the Cable because you made a mistake. It's not that he beat you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You more or less you normal jumped, he guard broke you. Or you called your assist wrong, or you hit a button, he shot you. You landed in a grenade in a grenade placement zone. Like those are more he's just taking advantage of mistakes and then he gets to annihilate
Mm.
with bars. But like Cable, I got it. I mean Iron Man. Oh, you're right. Iron Man, he doesn't got to take advantage of your mistakes, and he doesn't have to mix you up. He doesn't have to play like Magneto. Like he could kind of just play and get his hits still. Like I think Iron Man beats Magneto 1-on-1. Like I think that's a hard fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
I think like he does. I don't think he beats Sentinel, but he can probably fight him if Sentinel makes a mistake. But that's another person making a mistake, so that's kind of like Cable vibes. But he could still like beat Magneto. I think he could do good against Storm. I don't think he beats Storm.
I don't
And
think he beat Storm either.
I think he
Nobody
beats
beats Storm.
I think he beats Cable because Cable obviously like Iron Man players, they don't have to move fast, so they're not gonna run into like Cable stuff more or less. They're gonna get chipped out if anything, but they're never gonna dash into a roundhouse or come down to get hit with a cross up like short or something like that. Like
Right.
and
I
they're
see.
never gonna really
Yeah.
normal jump.
Yeah. I
You
see
know what I
the.
mean?
I see them going more with a wear down versus Cable rather than actually trying to
Yeah.
hit him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, and they'll never normal jump. So they never normal jump dash really unless they have an assist. So that's out of the question. So Cable's never really gonna exploit an Iron Man player. He's just gonna wear him down. And if the Cable player doesn't know how to wear it down, it's gonna lose most likely. You just gotta get hit once, and it's
Okay.
over. And then you don't have to have bars too. So That's another thing. He could touch you with 0 bars and kill the whole cast.
So do you think
Before you
teams
go
with
on,
Iron Man are better than teams with Cable on it?
Um, hmm. I think I do think I do. I don't know if I think so or not.
Okay.
That's a hard question. Just because they both got their advantages. Like
Mhm.
cable teams got a free counter in. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you get a free counter into hyper, but Iron Man teams got Iron Man assist, which is crazy damage, and they got free combos into Iron Man, which is a kill. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Iron Man one touch kill teams or any combo into proton cannon, and that character's dead. And then that's a guard break and they're dead. Versus like a guard break with cable is like, you get a bar, you might get two, but you never kill anybody unless it's Sentinel.
Yeah.
So, uh, I I'm gonna lean towards cable teams, but I do think Iron Man teams are up there too. So I'm just gonna be biased because I like cable.
Okay. So I'm gonna hear from Jason, but it's crazy because like I just think I can't see like Yipes or Justin losing to a Cable team before they lose to an Iron Man team.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I don't know, man, but like Storm Sand Cable, Row, like I feel like those teams are equally good compared to like Combo Fiend or Roundhouse Team.
Yeah.
Like they got their both different advantages. So like I don't they're pretty even in my opinion.
Okay.
But
All right. That's fair. Jason.
I think it's clear that Iron Man's better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just like there's only one good team that Cable's on. It's Team Scrub. He needs a full team to be effective. He needs bar to be effective. Even if he kills one character, let's say he burns 3 bars on one character, the second character is gonna come in. They're gonna get to play.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man, he needs nothing. He's scary on the floor. One air to air. If you're playing an optimal Iron Man, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
It like there's no argument for me. Like he's too strong, bro. He's
yeah,
too strong.
yeah,
He doesn't need anything.
Yeah.
Like Cable has too many weaknesses that he needs plugged up by assist, and he needs bar. And even if he does have bar, like a 1 bar Cable, so what? He's not scary. Like Iron Man's always scary in no matter what situation. He could have like a pixel health, and you'd be scared of getting launched by Stan Roundhouse into GG's. Like
Right.
he's too good. He's too good. He's definitely better than Cable.
Okay. Okay. All right. And I saved the Iron Man player in the group for last, Mister Mister Josh.
Um, uh, God, I've been a part of this conversation. I've been having this conversation for like 7 years now, for a long time. Um, but yeah, I think some people already kind of touched on it that Iron Man versus the other the four, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're
yeah.
taking Iron Man and Cable and comparing them, fighting the rest, um, Iron Man fares way better against Magneto than
Mm-hmm.
Cable, right? Even Dolo. Although I do think that, nah, fuck it. Yeah, Iron Man just clears it out way better than Cable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, versus Storm, he can actually. It's my fault for not playing more patient, but I can. He has a lot of options against Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that essentially almost mimic what Cable can do because I can control space
Yes.
with smart bombs. I can uni beam her out of her like typhoon hails. I can do things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes the risk reward is just not the same because I can't cancel into a super, right?
Right.
However, I still think he fights Storm better than
Mm-hmm.
Cable. When it comes to Sentinel, I think that's the only even point they have. And hear me out on this. The reason I think they both are evenly matched versus Sentinel, even though Cable completely shuts Sentinel down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Cable and Iron Man both starting with 1 meter are playing two very different games versus Sentinel. Sentinel is trying to rush Cable down when there's 1 meter, as opposed to completely running away from Iron Man when there's 1 meter. I think the risk is just as high for each one. If Sentinel lets Cable live long enough to get more meter, it's only goes downhill. The match just gets progressively worse.
Right.
But if he tries to even do the same to Iron Man, he's just gonna die. Because Iron Man actually gets air to he gets unfly fairly easy against Sentinel.
Mm-hmm.
It could just be one spit from across the screen and I got it. But it's things like that. And I mean, aside from that, he can't unblockable either character. But if Cable doesn't have any meter, he could probably still get unblockable. Iron Man just legit cannot unblockable incoming on or anything like that. So I just think that they're both evenly matched, but Iron Man just does better against the rest of the characters than Cable.
Okay.
Also, I mean, it's just clear Iron Man doesn't need resources. If
Right.
he has unfly, that's it. He's his own resource, and he only gets stronger as he hits you. It's kind of a broken archetype, honestly. He doesn't need a battery.
He is the
doesn't need a
battery.
battery. He doesn't need an assist. Like Tony Stark did a fucking number on that suit, bro. It's OD. Like in that game, he's just so strong. He has 2 frame launcher. That turns into death. Everything is death. I've been saying this for a long time. I've been saying Iron Man is better than Cable in terms of that, because even like you mentioned, right? Like you don't see a Cable player beating Yipes or Justin
Right.
With that. But I've sent Justin to losers. I've eliminated him in tournament as well with Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
And am I a better player than him? No, but I have a factor with that character that Cable doesn't. When now they're both amazing on the same team.
Yeah.
I think they both complement each other so well. But in terms of who's better, I think Iron Man is on more top tier teams than Cable. Believe it or not, top tier looks different for Iron Man teams than it does for Cable teams, because Cable teams are the traditional, right? Like you get like Storm Scent, you get Magneto, Sentinel, you have Sentinel Cap. But with Iron Man, you have Mag Scent, you have Cable, Doom. Well, I guess the Cable counts as part of that team as well. You have um, Roundhouse's team, Storm Scent. You also have Magsci. You have shit like that. Like you can't Cable on Magsci is trash, but like you know what I mean. Like he has more viability when it comes to quirkier teams that are still top tier, that are still good against certain. Like at Magneto, Iron Man, Psylocke is pretty good against MSP.
Right.
Bro,
Like,
the motherfucker hits you one time, you don't get to play GG, end of discussion. That's it. It's as simple as that. You don't get to play, bro.
But it's like it was also kind of touching back on what Potter said, where like you could kind of like you could block Iron Man pretty easily. Like a lot of the hits I get are from making people think that they can block what I'm about to do, because I just do the simplest shit, or I stay on the same side, or like those kinds of mixes, like are the really dumb slow ones are the ones that still hit people. Like it doesn't have to be fast for you to
But
get
Iron Man is not a mix-up character. He's like more of a counter puncher type of
Yeah.
character.
And he has the mix.
Yeah. So like the
that's
mix-up argument is kind of irrelevant, but like the counter hit is where he gonna fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you can predict the counter hits personally. The tricky stuff is like with Thriller and like Worldoo, I think, in that they're just next to you the whole time. And you're like, how are you still next to me like for 10 Marvel seconds, right? And you can block it, you can hold back it, and you can tech throw, but there's just like this type of pressure that's kind of different. It's hard to adjust to.
They both
that's
have
what really did so well in that New York event. I think you guys just weren't used to this guy just being right next to you the whole time, doing nothing and just waiting for you to mess up.
Yep, exactly. And it's like they both have the ability to jump and cover their under. Like Iron Man's weakness on teams outside of anything that has Cable, Doom, or like War Machine, for instance, is that he doesn't have anything covering the underside when he jumps, but they have something that pins you and keeps you there when they jump. So like it's that's a scary character to fight. He can kill you at any point. He's in front of you. Is he gonna stagger the hit or is he just gonna throw you and you die anyway? So
I just think you can adjust to that too, though. Like, and I think that's where like the teams that those guys use, World and Thriller, that's the limitation. I think they play those teams to the max that you can, but I just think at the end of the day that they do have weaknesses that are exploitable,
Right.
and it makes it harder for them to not necessarily to win consistently because they do win consistently. I think it just they have to overcome a hurdle every time, and like yeah, they're used to it, and like they make it seem easy or normal, but I don't think it necessarily is, especially when you're playing like really good players that are adapting to what they're doing. Because when you start adapting to what they're doing, then it gets harder for them to open you up, I think.
I agree
Yeah,
with
I
that
mean,
too.
yeah, I do too. Like with that's
I
the difference between having like Storm or Magneto on your team is the fact that Iron Man doesn't necessarily have to be the star of the show
yeah,
until it's his
yeah.
cue. When they hit you, now it's his cue to come in and ruin the rest of the game for you.
Right. And
Like
also Potter, like I think in terms of you know, like what if you're forced to have to fight Iron Man? That's when it gets scary, you know? Like if you're down on life or you're down a character and you kind of have to try to go and get a hit on him, I think that's when he's scary. When
Yeah, 'cause, like,
when he's down,
when
yeah,
you
it's
play these
optimal.
when you play these guys who can convert one like standing roundhouse into an infinite into your whole team dying, like that shit is super scary. Like you can't even it's not even like really playing Marvel because you're just playing like the ideal way to play those teams is just be super defensive and don't ever let them get close to you and like only hit optimal buttons, and it's really difficult. And like it's fun, right? In a challenging way, but you don't really get to play regular Marvel because you're so scared one mistake means you die. And like maybe that's why Iron Man is better, right? Because he can do that.
Yeah.
But I think you can adjust to it.
Yeah.
Fair.
Do we all agree here that Storm doesn't have a bad matchup?
I don't,
Cap's
Yes.
pretty bad.
I don't know about that.
I think any team that doesn't have Storm loses to Storm. What do you think, Crizzle?
I think so.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I don't
Yeah.
think so, Potter, because I don't think Team Scrub loses to Storm.
I think it does.
I think she does well, but I don't think it loses to Storm. I think it loses to like Magneto. I don't think it
So, like,
loses to Storm.
All the arguments you guys made for Iron Man are like apply to Storm, but like times infinity, right? Like she can do everything Iron Man does, but she's faster. She can run away. Like she has a full screen super that chips you. She's
No,
like, she can
but she's
kill you,
not. But
throw
she's
her in the
not.
corner.
She's not. And yeah, she's not one
Ain't
touch
one touch-
killing.
yeah, the
She's
one
not.
touch kill is big, Potter.
Yeah, she's not enabling you
I mean,
to
you
not
get caught
play
in
your
the
next
corner and
character.
You get in that the schmicks. I feel like that's
Oh,
almost
yeah.
like a one touch.
Okay,
But
the
you get a chance
the
to
schmicks
get
is tough,
hurt.
right? But let's be real. Like
Aside from that factor, I think she has all those same attributes, just to like a way higher level.
no, but people are not afraid to attack her, you know, to challenge her buttons because it's not going to lead to an infinite. Because if when you're fighting Iron Man, like you said, right, like you have to pretty much like respect them, you know, like push only the optimal buttons, you know, like Sentinels are less likely going for fly combos against Iron Man lately too, because if they mistime it and he gets a button, it's an air to ground and it's turning into death. But if Storm only has one bar, Sentinels are jumping at her all day.
See, I don't agree. Like the really like elite Storms to me are like they're so scary. Even with Sentinel, like Sent Cat, I feel like I can't press shit. Like even like Crizzle, when I would play Crizzle online, like he was like always next to me, like with Sentinel, and I couldn't do anything. And he didn't even need to have like Psylocke. And I feel like that against like the elite Storms, like Jason, Yipes, and Bill. Like even with Sentinel, like I feel like I should be able to zone you out and like do certain things, and I just can't. I get beat out because you guys know how to fight and move faster than like I can space or react. I mean, I don't know.
Well, so like look, the keyword you said there was react, right? But the thing is, against her, you can get away with going for some predictions, so you don't have to react. So if you're correct, she's gonna lose a lot of life, and if you're incorrect, you're not gonna die. Whereas Iron Man, if you try to predict and you're incorrect, you're you're getting 300% it. So like that's the only thing about Storm.
What buttons on my Storm all fucking day, bro?
But I also don't think it's as easy as it sounds for Iron Man to land the hit. In my opinion, I think he has to
Well-
work really hard.
Well, if someone's running from him, no, right? But like I said, it's when you have to fight and when you have to challenge, because his I don't feel Iron Man has a bad button. I think all of his buttons are useful in a situation, and they're really, really good, right? He has godlike anti-airs. He has a 2-frame down forward launcher. His jump fierce enables him to jump at people when people jumping at an opponent are supposed to be at a disadvantage. But he can jump up at people at the right angles because he has an up fierce, right? He has a neutral fierce if they're on the same plane, and he has the down heavy when he's coming out the sky, and he has jump jab, which is 2 frames, same speed as Magneto's air short. So like his buttons are very scary to challenge, because not only do they lead into stuff, but they're actually good buttons.
He said lead it to stuff. Nah, bro, they lead it to death.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they still gotta convert, they still gotta execute a combo, right? But like if you get jump jab or jump short, they can turn that into an air to ground. Or like Gorilla, he doesn't even do air to ground, he just uses his assist, and then it's boom, like it's just straight death. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's the bullshit of Marvel, right? Like MSP's the same shit. Same shit. Like
yes, yes, it is, Potter.
I just don't think he's fast enough for me to rank him that high. If he was a little bit faster, I think all that makes sense. To me, he's not fast enough.
Yeah. So I feel that way, right? It's something that Potter reminded me right now, and I kind of thought about it. The only reason why I think he is crept up that high is because of World and Math. Like, I don't play with Josh like that, but when I play with these guys, I'm like, yo, these guys are OD with this guy. I play with World a lot. This guy is amazing with this guy, man.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. The other guys, I can zone out. I can do all that stuff, predict his hits. But those dudes,
Yeah, I mean, you also like it's a very different thing, right? Like the age old thing has just been like I have him as a midpoint character while they have him as a point character that with teams built around the point character. So you're gonna fight something completely different with that point. Like if I'm trying to attack you, right, with drones, sure I can get like a few layers in of something, but it's not the same as me pinning you down with Doom. That's just much harder to deal with, especially on the ground because Psylocke is gonna get covered. And it depends on who you ask, right? Because there are teams that counter theirs that don't counter mine. But
Yo,
I always play butt ass Iron Man. It's like
bro,
I just got.
I don't know if you guys remember, but when Math was playing Yipes and Sanford, when he smothered them with that repulsor blast from War Machine, he was getting 2 mix-ups. It was crazy.
yeah.
That shit is kind of
Yeah.
Come on, those mix-ups are so slow. Like, so I think what Josh is saying is true too. Like, his team is just different the way it's played, and I think his team is more sustainable against like other top teams and top players because like Matt's team doesn't have a real anti-air. Like, it's really dependent on him kind of oppressing you and just being next to you the whole time. World, a little bit, he needs that, but he still has Cable, right? Cable Doom's like still pretty good, but like that loses to Runaway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know. I feel like Josh's team is still better.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
I don't think Math's team has a safe DHC out either.
No, that's why he just tagged, dude.
Yeah, he just tags all day. Yep.
Or he'll do the War Machine Super, right?
Yeah.
The War Machine Super, you can't punish it.
I think you can.
You can.
Got you.
Yeah,
That's some online
I
shit.
think you can.
That's some online where you can't.
It's I don't know. It seemed like it was safe. It comes out pretty fast.
I mean, to be real, none of you know how to fight fucking Iron Man.
Hell no. That was the first time we
No.
seen an War Machine in a tournament.
That's that's the shit, yeah. And like that just goes to show you fight somebody who knows what they're doing and you never fought that shit, good luck.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's especially somebody as OD as Math. Like for real.
Yeah.
But like in terms of it, like I was saying this before, I've been having this conversation for years where like Mike has been saying it for years too. He said Iron Man is just the best character, but like I think Iron Man is just he offers something utility that for a long time people didn't get to see because nobody believed it existed. And they're just
Yeah.
seeing it a lot more now because there's people other than me that are also playing it and they're playing in
Yeah.
different teams and they're seeing how dominant they are. And yeah, of course.
Yeah, man.
So there's
That
more of an
motherfucker
argument.
Iron Man collected child support from me like a couple years ago.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I also think Iron Man might be
ever.
he could be the best. I mean, if people explored metas more and they started like using unblockables like with Dalsim and other characters, then I think
Hmm.
people will be more afraid of Iron Man and as a whole because now you can't even play the game. You know what I mean? You get stuck in
Yeah.
a situation where you got to block and it's over. You're not blocking. I mean, Josh does it already on incoming. I mean, he'll do the unblockable proton cannon sometimes. Like that's guaranteed. There's nothing you can do about that. He got unbreakable guard breaks. You can't get out of the guard break. Like you just can't.
Josh is fucking cheap, bro. Motherfucker's cheap.
I mean, but yeah, that um, yeah, world and map are insane with the characters too. So I'm happy to see that more people can do it because it's hard to make an argument when there's only one person for the sample size.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just I get lucky, I get a one touch kill. That's what it looks like. But then you play two people that are just keeping you in an alleyway the whole fucking time, and you can't get out.
It,
The only way is
it's
pat
that
down.
it's that time requirement, right, Josh? You got to put in the time.
Yep. Yep.
You got to
Absolutely.
either put in time on Iron Man or just put in half the time on MSP, get the same result.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Guys, I gotta go have dinner. Y'all have a good night.
All right,
Alright, later,
Josh.
Josh.
Thanks for tuning
There
in.
you go. Of course.
All right, so I mean, I don't have any other topics that I wanted to hit. If you guys have any other topics, we can talk about it. Otherwise, I'm cool with just calling it.
Oh, damn, I don't have any. Grizzle? Grizzle usually got something.
I'm just chilling, man. I'm just
I mean, we could
watching
we
everybody.
can talk about the MSS Santax. We can get back to that.
We could,
Uh,
yeah.
I just don't think I think whoever calls assist first in that matchup loses. And I also feel like even if Thrax calls Cap first, he can still stomp out. Yeah, he can still stomp
Yeah.
out MSS. So I don't see how it wins the meta. Wins the neutral, I should say. I don't see it. MSS Drones does better, but I think MSS Rocket Punch gets owned by Santhrax.
Yeah, I think
So-
MSS Drones is a cheap ass team.
Yeah.
So I feel MSS Rocket Punch does have the advantage over Santax starting Sentinel, just because of the nature of Magneto versus Sentinel. Like, you know, it's gonna be hard to fight Magneto without calling assist first. A good Magneto, right? And then the Rocket Punch is there, and the fact that all you need is one hit on Sentinel. Like, I'm thinking in terms of full team, not just the point war. So right there, right? You have the point where we're like, okay, yeah, Cap can definitely beat Mag Rocket Punch, but he only needs one hit, like, and he has a number of ways to win with the snap, or like, you know, he can just kill Sentinel. Whereas, okay, if Sentinel does kill Magneto, you know, Stormset is most likely coming in with a lot of bar, and she's gonna have repeated Stormset DACs, which I'm not saying like it's a guarantee for her to land that, because she still gotta struggle to get that hit, but it's an option, right? But now, on the flip side, if Magneto does get that hit, Santax might be like just pretty much done, because like once the one touch kill happens, now you just have Stormcat versus a full MSS, full 3-character team with one touch kills across the board. So now you have to play OD to make that comeback, where MSS
you
won't have to
win the point war.
Yeah, you do have to win the point war. Now, I do feel the Sentinel's supposed to use Typhoon more in that matchup. But then, like, you have the issue with slowdown, and like when Rocket Punch is called, the Typhoon is called, the slowdown happens, and I feel like Magneto's gonna benefit more from the slowdown, because he doesn't have to be as accurate and precise, and his reward's gonna be higher against Sentinel in that particular order. But I do feel Santax starting Storm. Once you get away, I think that matchup is probably even, if not slightly, in Santax's favor. But the ability to get rid of Magneto quick, and then Sentinel he gets to play lame against Stormset DAC with just Rocket Punch and no anti-air. I like that order better than starting Sentinel. Because your Sentinel, your execution with him has to be like ridiculous. You can't miss no flights. You gotta be like always aware. Your hit timing has to be on point. You know what I mean? Like you could be in the right spot, but you whiff your short, and then Magneto gets a ROM.
Yeah, yeah. I think MSS drones beats Thrax though.
Yeah, I feel that too, but
Yeah.
and I don't know why, but I'm not that good with Sentinel like that. But I do feel that that team is really scrubby.
MSS drones.
Well,
Yeah, like
I
you could
don't,
just
I
do
don't, I did.
bullshit with Magneto.
So like
Can.
so to me, like the opposite, right? So against Rocket Punch, I feel you're supposed to use Typhoon more if you're starting Sentinel. But with drones, I think you can get away with using Cap more.
Yeah, you clear out all 3 drones with 1 cap call.
Yes, I don't necessarily think it beats it. I do think it's hard still
It
starting
causes
Sentinel.
more. It causes more like messed up
Chaos.
situations
Yeah,
for the Sentinel player.
but that's why I prefer to start Storm, because okay, if he calls drones, I can call drones also, and like the drones will counteract each other. So like you're gonna lose that chaos factor. And then I have Typhoon Hails, whereas you don't as a Magneto player. Like you can still catch me, yeah, but like I can still kind of punish or assist, and I can still run away from you. I can win full screen away, and I can attack you. But you can only win by attacking me. I just think in general, Santhrax is best starting Storm in that matchup to me.
And
I see
yeah,
that. I can see
I
that.
could see that too.
But you have to get away in the beginning.
That's the
Yeah.
scary
Yeah,
part about
that
starting Storm, bro.
you have to get away in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Bro, when I first started playing Thrax, I was starting Storm, and then I was like, it's not worth it, man. I'd just rather start Sentinel. I don't
Mm,
want to deal with that open. The opener is OD.
it is.
Oh,
It is. It is. And then it's a checkmate.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Get that opener. It's a checkmate. So Potter, you play
Yeah,
Bill. You play Bill a lot, and obviously Bill's best team is MSS. So how do you feel?
Yeah, I agree. I think MSS has a slight advantage against Thrax, and it comes down to like what you guys are saying, right? Do you want to start Storm and go for the 90% DHC,
Mm-hmm.
provided you get away at the beginning,
Right.
or do you want to start Scent and get the super armor to give yourself a second chance to potentially block, right?
Right.
MSS drones isn't as like scary for me as like for like the double snap,
Yeah.
but there's still like the snapback factor.
Right.
And I think Mac drones, like Jason was saying, I think it fights Scent Cap a lot better than
Rocket
Mag
Punch.
Rocket Punch.
Yeah, I
But
agree
Rocket
with that.
Punch is like you can use Rocket Punch like Psylocke when it comes to like double snaps and like resets. Like I think that's underrated. It's just the harder part is actually getting the hit
Yeah.
with that team.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think like Crizzle was saying, Mag drones, like you can literally, I don't want to say mash, but like you get a lot of like wiggle room to like freestyle, which is like why the team's like pretty cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
And fun to play.
Yeah.
And then you still get the Storm Send DHC even if Mag were to like die early.
Right.
And
Yeah,
like
she's
that happens a
never
lot.
dead.
So, like, when me and Bill play,
Storm
and,
gets
like,
drones.
when
She's
me and Bill
better.
play, if I start Storm and if I get the DHC, I feel like I should win, right? Like I have Scent Cap
Mm-hmm.
and Storm against just Storm Scent. But a lot of the times, like when you fight a crazy good Storm, and his Storm's a lot better than mine, I still end up losing because like Storm Scent by themselves is still kind of bullshit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since Magneto's a battery, and she's gonna come in with 3 to 4 bars. So she
you're
can most likely like DHC like 3 times. Like she's gonna
She's
DHC.
gonna wear him down and then DHC his ass.
And like I haven't played Ken since like before the pandemic, but when I did, like he was fucking me up. But like a lot of the rounds when I killed Magneto, I was like, oh yeah, I got this. Like this shit's over.
Mhm.
And he would just beat me with Storm Scent, and like a lot of it was with like the Scent Storm, like his bullshit mix ups.
Yeah.
But like I think there's a lot of that team's still really dangerous, and I think that's why that team's bullshit. Is like even if you kill Magneto, there's still a chance you should lose. Like it should be like 90% guaranteed you win in that situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Dude,
think that
the
team's bullshit.
modified dash with the drones behind it was a game changer too, bro.
Yeah.
That shit's stupid good.
Yeah, yeah, it's like free pressure in weird situations, bro. Like I'll be holding up back, and if I see a gap, I'll just call drones and modify dash right away, and it's free pressure. It's mad dumb.
Yeah, it's that keyword in weird situations. That's what
Yeah.
because it comes out of nowhere. Like
Yep.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like there's pressure right here. Like, oh, you just got out and then boom.
Mm-hmm.
So
you
like
get-
to
you get
me,
extra turns.
that's the
You get extra turns.
that's the most funnest matchup in the game to play for me. I was playing Santhrax against MSS. To me, I don't know why. It's just super fun.
MSP versus Thrax for me is the most fun.
Yeah. Me
I
too,
guess
bro.
I guess
Yeah.
I guess I like it because I get a chance to go for some offense too because he doesn't have an anti-air. So
Yeah.
it's like a nice little chess match. Like, okay, like can I get my shit off? Can I get a little something going? You know what I mean? Like that. It's just fun to me.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something about like playing MSP versus a Thrax when you're MSP. It's just mad fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Especially when you snap that motherfucker in.
What's your most fun matchup, Potter?
Mine is I like playing Scrub against Thrax when I have Cable lined up against Sentinel.
That's fun for you, Potter.
Yeah, I love running with
He
that.
said- he
Like,
said-
I can't do anything.
Yo,
don't
Potter,
wanna
oh,
struggle. He don't wanna
gosh.
struggle.
He said like
I
when
need that counter pick. I'm not trying to work hard, bro.
Yo, you know what though?
That's funny.
Another matchup I really have fun. I have a lot of fun fighting MSP with Cable Sense Sight. That's another fun matchup. Cause it's like rush down against my keep away, but now like keep away, I got a reward for having good defense, so it makes it more fun. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that team is pretty annoying to fight with MSP. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty
That's
annoying.
the perfect online team, right? Like Cable Cyclops.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
oh yeah.
Ironic.
Cable
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that shit's actually viable online.
Sight.
Yeah.
Yep. Just hold up, back, call Sight, bunny hop.
Oh yeah, that bunny hop is real online. It's hard to meet cats.
Hey, yeah.
What are you
Online
gonna
is
say,
hard to
Grizzle?
play. I was gonna say, with that, I know we were saying this earlier. Like, what characters would be in the new meta that really isn't in the meta? Like, what characters could people get deep with?
Iron Man.
Like, yeah, I think he's there.
I think Iron Man's there.
Yeah.
But like, I seen like Dalsum sometimes. Someone mentioned Dalsum. and I was
Well,
like,
we know how I feel about Dowsum.
I think Dowsum's trash.
I feel Dowsum is top tier. If you
That's
have
crazy.
but his execution is extremely high. It's like
Yeah.
I feel like somebody like Chaos level execution like would be able to do all the shit that he can do.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So like that doesn't so that kind of makes him like not practical because he requires so much execution. But if
Yeah.
like the things that Chaos does, like, and at least in my opinion, back in the day, like I used to deem it unpractical, but he turns the impractical practical the way he plays. So I'm like, okay, that changed my outlook on things that are hard to execute. I'm like, you know what? But if somebody makes it possible, we gonna be singing a whole different tune, a
Bro,
real
yeah,
whole different tune.
Those guys built different, man. They got hands from the heavens. I don't know. They built different, man.
But
I
you know,
recorded him doing all his shit, his reflies.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's like in his hands at the arcade. It looked like he wasn't even doing anything.
I know. Oh
No
yeah, it's
struggle.
effortless.
Effortless.
It's
yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
effortless. That's what gets me about Ken. When he's reflying, it's
Yeah.
effortless. He's just so peaceful. Kapata. I'm like, what the fuck? He's not
Yeah.
working for it. He's not working for it.
Oh, he
I was like,
worked for it.
oh.
Now he don't have to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to now. I remember I was like, wow, is that hard? Like the way you're doing that, and he did it, the combo, and I was like, I didn't even see it. I was
Bro,
like, I didn't even see
When he was in New York, we put him on P2 side, and we was like, "Yo, does it feel harder?" And he was like, "Nah." It feels
Yeah.
the same."
Yeah.
Crazy, bro. His level of execution crazy, but like me, like Dowsum, he has that execution barrier. To me, Strider Doom, of course. Like I
Yeah.
feel the downfall of Strider Doom is always the user, because like you don't have to open me up to kill me. So like Strider Dooms lose because they fuck up, right? Or somebody hits them some really good shit. But like for the most part, like once they get that momentum going, and it's a team based game. It's 3 characters, so it's not Strider Doom versus 3 characters. They have a third character too. So whether Set puts in his work, what I mean. Strider Doom doesn't have to do everything, but once it gets going, and if they're on point with their shit, I feel it's OD.
Yeah.
I feel Spiral is up there. Spiral and Blackheart, to me, the weaknesses of keep away teams were lack of blocking. But if you don't open up a keep away team, like how you beat it?
I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think Blackheart is good, but I will say he's by far the most annoying character to fight. He is so annoying to fight, bro.
He's not good like
Yeah.
in terms of like on point, right? But he's annoying, and if you get hit by his assist, technically it's supposed to turn into an infinite. And depending on who his next character is, like say he has his Blackheart Cable, he can do infinite, and you can tag in Cable and use all that bar to kill somebody. Like it's nuts. And so as long as like Blackheart doesn't get opened up like pretty easily, I think he can be viable. I don't think he's like out the question. I mean, he got to deal with Cable, but so does Sentinel, right? Other people got to deal with Cable too.
I always say the people that use Blackheart are the guys that don't know how to use Sentinel. You ever notice that? All the Blackheart players, they don't know how to use Sentinel.
Or Cable usually too.
Yeah.
Blackheart, to me, Blackheart is by far the most annoying character to fight, though.
Free. Bro, when I played PAX in Vegas, oh my god, I wanted to pull my hair out.
So
Whatever hair
annoying.
I had left.
Like what?
How was that Vegas trip?
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. But I got kicked at the table, so that part wasn't fun. But it was good.
No disrespect to anyone that plays Blackheart, because I'm actually a fan. But at the same time, it's like when you turn this game on and you see everything, and you look at the archetype of character that Blackheart is, and that's appealing to you. Say like, I want to do this. You want to just jump up and down throwing demons that don't chip. That's how you want to play the game.
You know what that reminds me of? Like people who play Street Fighter and they pick Dalsim. Like, bro, that's all you want. You want to play. You want to stay full screen and just chuck your leg at me the whole game.
I'm like, yo, Demon's not even chipping. Like, you there's no mix-ups. Like, you're not getting a hyper ×3. Like, you're literally jumping up and down throwing demons. That's fun to you, but to each his own. Whatever.
Yeah, there's psychopaths, bro.
At least like with Spiral, at least she's chucking knives. You know what I mean? Like stuff's happening. Like she's doing some stuff. She's moving. She got a teleport. Spiral seems fun to play, but like I don't know. Blackheart is just he got one dash. Like
I don't know, man. I feel like all trap team players are like serial killers on the low. Something gotta be wrong with them to play like that, man.
Hitting the button.
So I think all of these arguments are good, and like all these characters can be viable. I just think like the entry, like the level of like execution and strategy is so high that like it comes down to like there's 2 Strider players, 1 Spiral player, like 2 or 3 Iron Man players. So like I think they make the character good, and make the character look better than it actually is. But if you're starting out like as a new player, like I would give them more practical advice to like start with like, Storm and Magneto, right? Or Sentinel.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue. It's like those characters have a lot of tools and they can compete at a high level. It's really hard. And even the guys that are super good, have trouble like winning tournaments and stuff, except maybe Duck.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, I think that's spot on.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? Like even if you do restrict yourself to playing MSP or Santhrax, there's so much execution that goes into playing the team correctly that it makes the journey fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not boring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can. There's multiple ways to play each of those teams. You have like quite a few different styles of MSPs and quite a few different styles of Santhraxes. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, let me ask you guys, like Chris, how long did it take you to become quote unquote good at this game?
Yeah, like because when I came, everybody was already 3 years ahead of me, so it was crazy. It was coming fresh, and then people were already seasoned. I played a lot. I'm gonna say like probably like at least 2-3 years, to the point where like I felt like I can go in a session and like really go toe to toe with everybody. It took a while. It takes a while, especially.
How long did it take you? Like I remember when Crizzle started in CR.
I was all bad. You're the
And,
first person I ever
like
seen
a
fast
few years
fly.
later, you started winning them things, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I remember playing Cable Guy, and I don't think I beat Cable Guy the first year I played against him at the arcade. I was like, damn, like ain't no love for me.
Yeah, no,
I ain't
it's
win a game.
yo,
bro.
it's tough when you come in and people are seasoned in this game.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
To
why
me,
I
that's
feel
what makes
bad
it
playing
most
against new
fun. Is that
booties.
like it took so long for all of us, and we worked so hard. Like if someone's like a top player in this game, like they've fucking like battled for years to get there. Like not just like to get kind of good, but like then to like become like a seasoned and like successful tournament player. Like that's a different like hurdle and struggle to overcome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's what makes it fun. Like when you play someone that's like super good, it's like damn, like we're both like this is like 8-10 years of work,
Yeah.
going at each
Yeah.
other. And that to me makes it really fun because it's like and like even when you see like high level stuff, like when you watch Yipes and Snapper play a set, it's like in the streams there might be like 2,000 people watching, but there's like maybe 20 people that actually can like follow it
And
And
really
appreciate
know
it.
what's going on, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate
Ooh,
that shit.
so
You're like,
so
damn, like how did he
beautiful.
not get hit here? Like how's he avoiding this situation here? Like,
Yep.
So good.
like how's he moving like that? Like
Shit is art,
That-
dude. It's art.
That's when I see Ken, like sometimes I'll be bored, and I'll see Ken, like when he went to Chicago and he was
Oh,
playing
yeah.
Stanford those sets.
yeah,
Yeah,
Bruh, I was
that
like amazed.
was
I'd be like
ridiculous.
tripping on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
impressive.
Ken is super impressive to me. His level of optimization in his game, to me, is unparalleled. It's unparalleled. I think he is by far the most optimal in-game player in this game. Period.
I just always wondered what it feels like to hit your opponent and know that you're not gonna drop this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, bro, I'm
It's
gonna hit you
crazy.
and it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he has execution with all of his characters at a super high level. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
He hit me with that Sentinel Infinite like about a month or two ago.
Yeah, like dude, bro, dude is doing infinite for Sentinel. What the
No,
fuck?
I'm telling you, when he did that to me, he did it to me, and I was just like, what? And I like stopped, I dropped the stick, and I was like thinking to myself, like, how did he do that online?
Yo,
I was
man.
like, how did he do that? And he didn't miss it though, I was like,
Yeah.
He barely
What?
misses, dude.
I was like, man, made me really like chuckle to myself. Wow. Like,
Yo,
I literally laughed, and it was like, yo.
and
What?
Queso Def, I have not. But so like the thing with Ken, right? For me, is in West Coast, you guys are execution monsters, like as a whole coast in general. Like you guys have a lot of players with high level execution. I'm talking about in the game's entirety. Like you guys were like, I mean, like y'all had it when it came in terms of execution. But Ken like eclipses you guys when it comes to
he stands
execution.
out. Yeah.
And that's what's sick. It's like, how do you eclipse the best execution coach when it comes to, you know what I mean? Like, how do you eclipse them?
So when we were coming up, when me, you, Chris and Potter, when we were all playing, I remember playing Ken, and I didn't know who he was, but he was doing all this crazy shit. But I was beating him. And I was like, oh, he's just a little too flashy.
Yeah.
Or he's doing this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he played like you, right? Like just kind of went for dumb stuff. Cool stuff, but dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I played him years later, I was like, oh shit, he kept doing the dumb stuff, but he's connecting all the shit.
He found a way to land it to get the dumb stuff off, right?
Yes.
Yes.
He
Like,
took the long route, bro. He took the long route.
Yeah.
He's like the epitome of a combo video player who knows how to play.
Yeah, when I'm playing, I'm like, stop coming in, bruh. You're about to get popped. Stop coming in. And it's just like, he's coming. He's like that pit bull. Whoa, just keeps on coming. And he finds the way. And you're like, no, this ain't gonna work. And then it just happens.
Yeah.
You know, a scramble or something like, and then he just connects into the craziest stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, you keep playing the slaps, you're gonna hit one time, bro.
Yeah. That's why I feel like MSS drones is ridiculous. It's because of him, man. Magneto could just be psycho and do whatever he wants, and then you want to stop him. A drone clips you. Boom,
Yes. Yes, a drone clips you. Yeah.
The end of the drone just stops your combo.
Like,
boom, you're done.
You convert off of that, and then all of a sudden you're looking at the rest of the match, and you lose. And then you think back like, damn, what the hell caused this? That drone clipped me. You're like, y'all really lost my whole team off of that.
The drone got off. Like there was one there. You're like, what?
Oh man.
I love watching Ken play, bro.
Yeah, me too. He's one of my favorite players to watch.
Yeah.
This guy is.
I want to see him play like other people, like how, they always talking about Yikes and him, but I want to see Ken in like Pasadena.
I kind of want to see that too.
They played on Bill's stream a couple of but
nah, we want to see offline, bro.
yeah, I know. I want to see them play. You know what I mean? Like I want to see.
Yeah, I do want to see them play.
I think Pasadena has elevated himself to not at the same level as Duck and Ken, but I think he's getting there. Like he's really gotten a lot better.
Yeah, he's really good.
His execution is real consistent.
He just plays really smart too, and I think that actually is from playing with Duck a lot. Like Duck will make you optimize your style, but he'll tell you too, why did you do that? You could have just done this. And
yeah.
And if you start listening to that shit, you'll get better.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Pasadena play Duck in a long set also.
Yeah,
I think you're gonna get knifed up, bro.
Duck versus Yipes to me is like the holy grail. Like that's like the only match I want to see. Like I would pay a lot of money to see it. Like that's what I want to see.
Duck versus Yipes.
That'll be that's a good watch. That's a good watch.
That would be different, yeah.
I want to see if like the new and like crazy Yipes can like figure out the new and crazy like that shit's gonna be like Star Wars, bro. Like maybe only 2 people in the chat will understand what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Sheesh.
Man, yeah.
I haven't seen Bill and Duck play either. I'd love to see that. Offline.
I used to see those sessions back in the day. Bill used to put up a really good fight against Duck.
Yeah.
Like even going into that Evo that he won, because Duck played with us a little bit before then, and like, we were doing really well against him.
Yeah. I haven't. Has Schmidt played Duck a lot?
No.
Wow.
But I feel like he would kind of have to do the Yipes, like go MSP, land your shit or don't, and you lose. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
You're down and you're out for like you get chipped out 99 seconds.
I played Duck on Bill's stream. I think I don't know if Bill has it still.
Oh yeah, that was on Null, right? I thought you won.
Yeah, I won. Yeah. But I mean, Duck is legit, but I'm not afraid of that shit, that spiral shit. It's out here in the West.
That's not MSP. MSP players have like a ridiculous amount of confidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
When I see
that
people
weapon.
like that, I'm so scared the whole time. Like, dude,
See, Potter plays MSP, but he don't play MSP.
no, I don't play
Yeah.
No, no, he's not, but
Yeah.
it's just like,
When you
you
play
can't,
MSP, you know what you got.
MSP and Black Label, he can do anything.
yeah, you
So,
can't play MSP part time. Like that's why my MSP will never be as good as like any full time MSP player that's like legit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
yeah, that's crazy. I just think MSP is like, it's like you're hunting, man.
You are on a
It
hunt.
does feel like that, yeah.
You are on a
Yeah,
hunt with
everybody's
MSP.
iced tea, you know, and it's surviving the game. And it's
Everybody
like,
gotta run from you, bro.
everybody, and it's like Magneto controls the game. It's messed up.
Magnesh.
Magnesh, exactly.
Chris, but that was a wild reference. I got it too, but that was a wild ass reference.
You got it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
That's everybody's iced tea surviving the game, baby. Everyone's running. It's crazy.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it for the night.
Yep.
Yo, Potter, Crizzle, Jason, I appreciate you guys coming on, man. I think it was a good discussion. I had a lot of different opinions. I like that. And I just wanted to hear where you guys stood, which was cool. You know what I mean? I love getting insight from different types of minds because you can't just stay in your bubble. Like if you're a VDO, you'll go around thinking that Rogue Colossus Ken is good if you just waxing the same dudes.
Yeah.
You got small Pekka.
Yo, Chris, can I plug my null tournament real quick?
Oh, please do.
Yeah, guys, if you're on the East Coast or the Midwest, please sign up to my null tournament this Saturday at 6 p.m. EST. I'm gonna be running a null. There's a $100 pot bonus if we get more than 12 players. And I'm gonna try to get somebody on the mic with me. Maybe Chris could join me if he's free. We'll see.
I just might. So we're gonna go ahead and raid Senor Mr. Chobo.
All right, later, guys. Take care.
Later, guys.
Hi, Potter.
Take care.
Guys.
Go ahead and raid Chobo Ruin.
Super crazy shit, man. Shit, this man's raiding me and I gotta go. How funny. I was just about to raid Matrix. Thank you, Matrix. Thank you so much for the raid, buddy. I don't think so. When I noticed it, throw it on, Bill. Let me know when it's up, and I'll send everybody over to you.